Same on Twitch.
Testing. Okay, goodness gracious. Thank you, Far From Giants. Let's go back over here and redo that. Oh my goodness. I was just telling these amazing group of guests.
No, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
You can't hear me? Okay, guys, give us one moment here. All right. All right, we are back. Thank you for. We're back and we appreciate it. Huge shout out to our friends at Farfew Giants who called us out on not having audio. We love those guys. Not only do they make amazing games, the Imagined Leviathan, Night Fisherman, Outcast Lovers, they got some really cool stuff in the works, but they also help us out with some tech support apparently too. And we did an awesome interview with them, so make sure to check them out. Appreciate that very much. Athena Alliance, thank you for mentioning the audio. I think hopefully it's good on Facebook now too, and on Twitch. I think we're good. All right, appreciate it. I was just telling these wonderful folks that this has been a week for me, and so this just adds to the level of stress. Just when you think we prepare ahead of time, we think everything's good, and we have this. Okay, let's start all over. We have an amazing group of guests here today. Can you guys wave to the crowd one more time? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My name is Michael Zytkow. I am the founder of Potions and Pixels nonprofit, based out of beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, where we are broadcasting from right now. If you want to check out our website, we'd love for you to see all the work we do outside of streaming, all this stuff. We also do a number of youth programs, workforce development programs, a variety of educational programs. So please check us out for sure. I did mention when we were muted that we've reunited the band today. I'm really excited about that. We had this exact group of guests here 1 month ago when we first were discussing a set of games, including Family from developer Tim Scheinman, who we also interviewed. And he actually revealed in that interview that he was working on a sequel. So we had a bit of a scoop there. And so we wanted to reunite the band because, we're another music game. We thought, that's a little cute little reference there. And so we got this wonderful group together, and we are going to be discussing his new game Rivals. And in fact, everyone who's watching right now, we are going to be giving away a Steam key for Rivals, thanks to Tim Scheinman. So applaud him for that. Really appreciate it. And how it's going to work is super simple. We just want you to be and do the same things you regularly do. We want to hear questions from you. We want to hear comments. And based on that, we're going to randomly select from those who participate on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook and send out a key. I should say, better, higher level comments and questions will kind of move up, and we'll take those into consideration more. So we want to see that higher level content, just like we did with the Red Bull giveaway. Awesome. So before we get to this amazing group of people here, let's jump on over to see what events we have in store for you in the future, as well as events that we have done in the past. So let's start off here first with Indie Game Club. Of course, we stream every Monday, and every Thursday we have a discussion with a great group of guests. We hope you will join us for that. We are going to take a week off next week. We probably will end up streaming a little bit. I'm thinking I'm going to be streaming some Spelunky too and talking about that. One of my favorite games of absolutely all time. So I'm super excited to have that sequel there. But we need 1 week off, and then we'll be back on to our regular schedule. Tuesdays, of course, have been our days for community conversation. So hopefully you've joined us for some of these. And if you haven't, please check them out in the archives. We started off with Black Voices in Gaming in August, then went to Women in Gaming with our wonderful friends over at the Athena Alliance. Make sure to follow all these organizations we're talking about. They are absolutely fantastic. Then we went over to talk about custom game controllers, where we discussed the art, technology, and people behind custom game controllers. We want to give a shout out to Red Bull, who helped sponsor this by giving out a controller. We also want to give a huge shout out to Lowe's. Our friends at Lowe's have been absolutely amazing. They've sponsored all this wonderful stuff. They believe in these types of conversations and discussions, and we know you do too, so we definitely appreciate that. Games to the Rescue is an opportunity to explore how games are being used to fight against coronavirus. Yes, suggest there's games like Eterna and Fold It that you can play right now to help find a cure to coronavirus. It's really amazing but true. So check that out. Black Voices in Esports was our in-depth discussion of the state of Black Voices in esports, and it was something that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. I've had this conversation with these guys several times before, and we were saying, hey, let's get this on the record for the public to hear. So we were excited about that. Then these past 2 weeks, we've done something a little different. We had a bit of a series. So we started off by playing Tell Me Why, Chapter 1, and then had a two-part series called LGBT Voices in Gaming, Part 1 and Part 2. And in both of those conversations, we want to give a huge shout-out to our partners, the Athena Alliance, Charlotte Gamers Network, PvP Hub Charlotte. Amazing organizations. Again, please like it, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff to those. And we had an in-depth discussion about Tell Me Why, Chapter 2 and 3. If you're not familiar with Tell Me Why, it is the first major game from, first game from a major studio and major developer, a major publisher, to feature a transgender protagonist. So definitely check that out. And I will say it is an incredibly quality game. I know Scarlett on the stream here has played through it all as well. It is fantastic, folks. Really fantastic. Next month, we got a lot of different events planned, including Hispanic Voices in Gaming, happening on October 13th with Julio E. Nazario, a North Carolina-based board game designer who is on a hot streak. So definitely looking forward to talking to him about all his games, including the game you see there in the background called Control, spelled CTRL. It is available in Target right now, $24.99. Right after the stream, go get it. It's definitely worth it. A lot of fun with the family, especially during these times. Of course, outside of discussing games, we love playing games as well, so we invite you to join us on our Discord server. We have a really good time with that. We play. There's gaming probably going on every day, but especially on Wednesdays and Saturdays. There's a great opportunity to connect with a welcoming community, play video games and board games. We hope to see you there and discuss and debate. We've been having some debates about the console wars and all sorts of stuff, so please join us for that. Wednesdays is also our Smash and Learn sessions of the Potions and Pixels Online League. It's a great opportunity to level up your Smash Brothers skills. This last Wednesday was, yesterday was a session on Bowser. A lot of fun. This is completely free, and as all of our events are, completely free and open to the public, designed for all skill levels. Fridays of our King of the Ring sessions. Normally, we've been switching it up, so we've had Queen of the Ring, Team of the Ring. This Friday, tomorrow, will be Dark Lord of the Ring. Dominate the ring in this 1 versus 3 online battle arena special event. Make sure to check that out. And Saturday, we have our Gold Tier tournament. This is an opportunity for our gold tier players. You'll know if you're a gold tier player. If not, you still have an opportunity to jump into to the tournament. Actually, let me rephrase it. This is open to all players, but gold tier players receive priority seeding in the tournament. So make sure to check that out. Our league, you can sign up for it at potionsandpixels.com/league. It is designed, we have a ranking system in place so you can play against people of a similar skill level and have a better experience. And we recently had our bronze level tournament this past Saturday. Congratulations. First place, Scion. Second place, Watch 123. Third place, My Drum Luck 87. And then the silver tier tournaments, first place, Carbon Copies. Second place, K-Stand. Third place, Ultimate Forsaken. Thank you to everyone that participated in the tournaments. Whether you win or lost, we hope you had a good time and appreciate you for sure. That was a mouthful, folks. Woo, gotta streamline those introductions. If you haven't checked out our events, check them out. That's the long story, the short story there for you. Check those out. Let's get to this amazing group of guests that we have here. All right, I want to start off with series regular. Right above me, Angelic Layla. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience, please?
What's up, guys? It's Angelic Layla. I'm here again at my favorite place to play all the indies. You guys can catch me on Twitch at Angelic_Layla, the Athena Alliance, Discord, Facebook. All of my social media is Angelic Layla. Mostly active on Facebook and Instagram, and then in the Athena Alliance, you can catch me all over the place on there. So,
love it. And you all know what we do. We clap it up. Clap it up for Layla. Thank you. Whether you're at home, even if you're watching alone right now at your house, clap it up. We're clapping it up for everybody. We're keeping this positive energy alive. Thanks, Layla. Next, we have a gentleman that I think we just woke up from his nap. Perhaps I'm not exactly sure, but this is the most comfortable man in streaming. I think is a fair way. Before you guys were here, he was literally nursing a baby kitten with a little baby bottle. Maybe the kitten will make an appearance, but of course I'm talking about Barbastic. No, of course, Brian Allen. I just wanted to see if you'd roll with it. All right, Brian, it's you, my friend. Introduce yourself to the world.
Hey everybody, this is Bryant, aka Is the Great. I am just a local Charlotte gamer, and behind the scenes man. I am basically behind the scenes at all the things. See me hanging out at Potions and Pixels events. I actually help Mike run the Saturday event pretty regularly. I'm occasionally helping out with FemFox Vital, helping her with some of the games she runs. If you guys were at PowerCon recently, you might have caught me hanging out of a XR VR truck. So I'm just all over the place. But yeah, happy to be here and happy to play some indie games.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you being here. Let's clap it up for Mr. Brian Allen, please. I just can't get over you just laying there comfortably. I'm going to do that next week. I'm totally just going to lay in bed over here.
Hey, this is where I play games most often anyway.
Hey, that works. I feel ya. All right, next is D, otherwise aka Scarlet Aeon. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Scarlet Aeon. I also go by D. I am one of the streaming goddesses from the Athena Alliance, the goddess of academics. I actually teach a intro class of English to a technical school here in the York County area. And it is an experience. I'm just going to say that. Love playing games, and being part of Indie Game Club has had me playing all kinds of games I didn't think I would normally play. So it's pretty fantastic. Potions and Pixels is great. I love being here.
Thank you so much. And we love having you. Let's clap it up for Scarlet, please. So it always brings that like A-level analysis, whether she's in the stream or in the chat. So I can't wait to break down the games and discuss them further. Thank you. Tony Varela, series regular. Let him know. Teach him.
Yeah, definitely a series regular. Been on this show for a few weeks now. Go by Tony Taiga also. Tony Taiga 90. So if you see me on Discord, this is the face that goes to the name. Banker by day, gamer by night, and really have been enjoying Potions and Pixels, playing these games that I like she said, I honestly wouldn't have been exposed to.
I love it. Love it. You guys are warming me up. On a day when I need it most, I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. Let's clap it up for Tony. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And last, and certainly least, is my friend Barbastic. Just go ahead.
Hey, everyone. This guy. I'm here. Let's all talk about some games. I am Barbastic. I've been with Potions and Pixels for a couple years. I've been working on some D&D 5e projects behind the scenes. So if anybody's interested in that, hit us up on the Discord or Facebook and let us know. And I'm ready to talk some games. Let's do this.
I love it. All right, folks. Can we show our little stuffed animals, by the way? We all got cute little stuffed animals.
Oh, no. I don't have
get one?
I can go get my dog.
This is what we do before the stream.
Oh, wait.
Goat Simulator. Oh, Snorlax. We got two of these.
I have a Digimon. Whatever. Been playing. It poops a lot.
We can just have this. I might just have him on my shoulder here while we talk and see if he okay.
All right, I'm in, guys.
Awesome. You're in. We're all in this together.
I got my hippo pillow.
This is clearly the sleepover edition.
Sleepover edition for sure. Yeah. I got my room set over for us.
That's how that works.
This is where we went after the airport, right?
Right.
After the airport, we just all found a place to hang out together and have stuffed animals.
That's what we do. We're all broadcasting from the exact same place, just in different rooms.
The
audience has no idea what we're talking about, but I know.
Well,
someone
they're
who's
about to,
because
we're about to talk about some airport game. Let's go.
We are.
Oh, yeah.
Before we do that,
Never mind. My segue was not good enough.
Layla, did you hear that? Did you hear who's on the show?
What?
Is it Courtney?
Yes, indeed. Apparently, Layla's doing Courtney's voice this week. Courtney's back!
Oh, yay.
If you're confused about Courtney at all, get used to seeing her. She's not going anywhere. She's a modern woman, and she's not having it. She's on this show for good. Courtney, of course, was introduced in our show last week. She is the new American Girl doll, and we have kind of she's kind of our new mascot, so to speak. So, I mean, I'm really hoping to get one actually soon. But Courtney had a quick question for you guys. How about I say it in my regular voice, and then maybe just like last week, everybody does a little voice for Courtney's, and Layla sounds like she can get us started. So Courtney is curious. Before we get into all the indie stuff, we had we had fun last week talking a bit about the game news. Courtney's curious what you all think about Microsoft purchasing Bethesda. Layla, you want to interpret for Courtney before we get into that?
I'm thinking they had to. They're losing all of their exclusives.
That's the analysis. So a couple of quick questions for you guys. Let's break this down before we get into the indies. We had a lot of fun with this last week, breaking down the news. What do you all feel about this deal? This essentially doubles Xbox Game Studios' studio capacity. Definitely heavy hitters with Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein, Doom, a lot of and Arcane Studios, just a personal favorite of mine. How do you all feel about this?
So I'm going to throw a little bit of shade. Does that just mean that we're going to get another Skyrim game again that we're going to have to repurchase?
I'm sure that was already
Skyrim is going to run on a pregnancy test.
I mean, Tony, tell everybody what you mean by that.
Oh, because Doom runs on it. You can now. There's an article published where you can now play Doom on a pregnancy test. So, thinking Skyrim's next.
You know what would make me excited is if they wanted to re-release like Morrowind remastered and redone on a next-gen console. That would get me interested because I loved Morrowind more than I've loved most of the other, like not to bash the other Elder Scrolls games, but Morrowind is what got me into
I think I'm
Elder
with
Scrolls.
you. I think Morrowind might be my favorite of the Elder Scrolls series. That might have been the one that got me. I was playing like Daggerfall and the early stuff, but that was the one I think that really was like, this feels like a really immersive experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So I'm not sure how to feel. We'll see what happens.
Oblivion is definitely the only game that I've ever completed every achievement for. Like that's
That's fair. I loved Oblivion's DLC.
Oh,
I'm ready
yeah.
for Evil
First-
Within 3. I'm ready
Oblivion
for
was
Evil
my
Within
Elder
3.
Scrolls game that got me into it, but that's not my. I didn't 100% it, and those are my blood or my Dark Souls and Bloodborne games. Those are where I 100% the achievements because I am a sadist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I obviously hate myself a whole lot.
Do you guys feel good about this? I mean, there's a couple questions that are lurking. Courtney's filling me in on them. One, does this mean that Xbox and PC are going to be the exclusive home for Bethesda games coming up? I mean, Xbox now owns them probably, but we are seeing things like Ori and the Blind Forest, Minecraft, for example, Xbox published games on different platforms. So there are some questions about that. What do you guys think? What would you do if you were Phil Spencer right now? Something I ask myself every day in many life choices.
So it's twofold. They could do they own it, so the other consoles just don't get it at all. But I feel like the suspended release that they've been doing on a few of these exclusive games lately, where it's like PS4 gets it a month ahead of time or gets it with extra bonuses. I think those would be the better way to go about it, so that
Why is that? Better for who? Better for Xbox? Better for consumers?
Better for consumers, because the consumer doesn't want to. I'm already irritated enough that if I want to play Horizon Zero or Forbidden West, I might have to get a PS5, and I'm just not about that yet. Okay, then I'm totally excited about that game now. I was dreading the fact that I was like, I'm gonna have to save up for a PS5, and I didn't get the PS4 until like 3 years after it came out, just because I'm not on the bleeding edge of console generations lately. So
Let me ask you about that piece, though. Do you guys feel that? I'll just say what I feel. I feel like Xbox the team there gets unfairly criticized for exclusivity deals versus the others. So, like when Street Fighter V is announced as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, console exclusive with the PC release, everybody applauds it. As soon as Xbox says we're going to have Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusivity for 1 year, people blow their lids over this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there is a bit of a double standard in that regard. And to be honest, why the hell really do they need to? Yeah, we're not keen on the idea of exclusives, but isn't Microsoft kind of tearing down those barriers anyway by saying you can play Game Pass on any platform that would essentially allow it?
I know a lot of people are getting PlayStation's getting a lot of heat with the fact that the Miles Morales only being on the PS5 now, or is
it's
it
going to be on
PS5
both.
on both?
They're putting a few of the titles.
Or no, I'm thinking also the DLC for Avengers. The DLC, Spider-Man DLC is only available on PlayStation. So a lot of people were giving heat for that one.
Yeah, no, true. Good point.
That one kind of makes sense in my opinion because Spider-Man was only on PlayStation.
Well, and Sony has the kind of media rights to
that.
Yeah, and Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, so I feel like that one kind of makes sense a little bit. Yeah, D,
I know you were going to jump in here.
Yeah, I think that the reason there's such a double standard is that Xbox started a little bit more with the whole exclusive things. Whenever it started, like, okay, Halo exclusively on Xbox, these things like exclusively on Xbox. Back whenever it first got started, when Xbox entered the scene, it was like, no, all these games you can only play on Xbox. And so I think that might be why people started being a bit more harsh with it, because they're like, but what about playing on both of these or having access to both of these? I think it's just because PlayStation came out first that it's not taking as much flack. I'm not saying it's right to have that double standard, but I think that's probably where that double standard got started.
That's a great question. I feel like there is definitely history to it. I'm not sure I agree that it started with Xbox, because I'm thinking even things, for example, like when on Sony, we had Final Fantasy VII, for example, was exclusive.
Yes.
A lot of that was because of a CD-ROM was simply able to contain more information than the cartridge formats. But Scarlett, I hear your point on that. That's a really good point, and that's something I think we should all dig into deeper, because these are one of these those wars when people isn't like Romeo and Juliet stuff, where people don't even remember, right? Yeah, exactly. Brian, Layla, do you guys have any thoughts on Xbox gobbling all these studios up? And also, you guys might have seen that the CEO of Microsoft says they're not done. That if there's more studios that they think are strategically worth considering to purchase, including you guys have heard the rumors about Sega. I think that's completely unsubstantiated right now, but that rumor is there.
Cross fingers on that one.
Derivative in the comments is saying only if they can remaster all the bugs. I'm assuming you're talking about. I saw some memes where people were like, maybe Microsoft will force Bethesda to test things out before they're
finished games.
Yeah, not sure. But Brian, Layla, any thoughts on this before we move on to one more news items and then to indie games?
I don't know. I feel like Microsoft is looking at it more from a business perspective and not enough from a gamer perspective. And I understand that they do have to make money off of it, but the way that they're going to look at the studios and the way that they're going to handle the studios and the amount of interference that they're going to have in the studios is going to be based entirely on business decisions and not necessarily what's best for the consumer. In a way that a company that's wholly focused on gaming is going to have, more of a pipeline, and I feel like more of an intention towards, just a gaming crowd. So
I would agree if it wasn't for Phil Spencer being at the helm. I know everybody it probably seems like I have a teeny bopper photo of this man on my wall, and I might actually, or I'll make one. But Phil Spencer, I think, is one of the most remarkable people in gaming today, and I think with him at the helm, I have trouble seeing that. I think that's a valid point, but as long as he's kind of there and he keeps bringing his consumer friendly approach, I have faith.
I think one thing that's really interesting to take a note of too is that Microsoft has to gobble up these companies to get exclusives. Whereas you sit there and look at, I don't believe Sony owns Naughty Dog. I could be wrong with that one, but Sony doesn't necessarily have to do that to get exclusives.
No, they still do. No, they still do. I think it's the structure. I mean, what did Sony pay? Wasn't it was it 200 or 300 million for Insomniac recently?
Well, Insomniac, yeah.
And so, like, you know, there's the whole structure of like first-party studios, I guess second-party studios that are kind of affiliated with a specific, like, kind of how Rare used to be with Nintendo. That was kind of like the second party, and then I think Microsoft's relied on a lot of third-party stuff. But I mean, that's a good point. But maybe it's because Sony invested more strongly early on. Layla, you got something on this, or do you want me to jump to the next news topic?
Honestly, my honest opinion about all of it is that I don't really look. I've always played everything.
Sorry, one
Like,
second,
I've
Layla.
always-
Brian, I think we're getting some feedback from you. We're hearing ourselves in your computer. I'm sorry to disturb your slumber there. Layla, sorry, keep going.
Oh, okay, I thought it was me. I was like, not again. Don't say GameStop. But I was just saying that I don't like, because I've always played everything, or at least attempted to get everything. I don't really look at exclusives and everything in depth that way, because I know I'm gonna play what I want to play, and it's always gonna be based off of my friends community, who has what on what. If I have to buy the same game on 3 different things, I'm gonna do it so I can play with my friends. So I guess it's just my perspective of it isn't as I guess stressing for me. I'm gonna find whoever to play it on whatever, depending on my friend group.
I think that's a great point too. I think a lot of the console wars, like from the fanboy side, are rooted in that idea specifically, that when we were growing up, like, you know, you got like one console from your parents or whatever, and you kind of had to be locked into that ecosystem. And so when you're in the schoolyard and you're saying what's better, of course you're going to rep whatever your parents got you, and it just becomes this kind of war that, you know, Sega's better, it's got a blast processor, and you start like really buying into all this. And but to your point, yeah, I think as we get older,
that was real. That was real.
Blast processor was real, but it was over. You saw the doc. You read the book too. It was overrated for sure. But I feel you all. Last thing I guess I'll say on this is super excited. I mean, of all these studios, I'm really personally excited the most about Arcane. I think I'm looking forward to Deathloop. I think that studio, the folks behind Dishonored, Prey, like, these guys have the pedigree. A lot of the folks were originally part of the original Deus Ex team at Ion Storm. Really looking forward to it. Really amazing amazing win on Microsoft's part. So we'll see about that. Last news item, because we're running on time here probably. And I want to give a shout out to everybody. Fangirl Review, hey, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. You said, we had all the systems, but there were 3 kids. I feel ya. My parents paid extra to not deal with us fighting. Absolutely. I think that was the same thing in our house too. It was like we ended up having to kind of just get everything for sure. Last thing I guess I'll ask you guys real quick is, you guys might have seen the news reports during the day, 2 days ago, when Xbox Series S and X pre-orders came out, that I think someone had tweeted that Amazon sales for the Xbox One X were up like 747%. How do you all feel about little Timmy at Christmas opening up his gifts and getting an Xbox X, just not a Series X? That's the reaction.
That's funny. That's funny.
Xbox's naming conventions make absolutely no sense to me. I'm not sure what they're doing with this naming. Like, I was making a joke with Fangirl Review earlier. Like, 20 years we're gonna have like the Xbox Green or Xbox like.
Yeah. I think the first one was the Xbox One, like not the original Xbox, but Xbox One was, well, Xbox in itself, I think it's like DirectX box.
That was the name of it. Yeah, that was where it came from.
And then the one was supposed to be all in one, and I think Series S and Series X was supposed to be like car models, like, you know, like, ooh, the Series X and the Series S, to make it sound more premium.
They really just, it started with that they didn't want to be behind, because PS3 was releasing at the same time that Xbox 2 would have been releasing, so they would have sounded like they were so far behind. So they were like, we got to go with a different name. We are way above them. They're at 3, we're at 360. And now they're sitting here like, what do we name our console?
I think like Sub-Zero. This is going to be this Ice Glacier Blue.
The project name should not sound better than the name you decide.
Yeah, no.
Like, Xbox Scarlet sounds so badass.
Yeah, Scarlett,
And then
what do you
they're
think
like,
about that?
Series X.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the what
I might
is
actually
this?
not.
That's Series X.
If it was an
Yeah.
Xbox Scarlet, I'd be like, I have to get one now.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
no, obviously.
Someone with a Series X car, it just reminds me of like a douche banker or something. Like someone's dad is like, "Yo, I
Wait,
got a Series
Tony,
X
aren't
in
you a
the
banker?
garage." Yeah, I don't have one of those cars though, but I know because I see them around.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
They're like, "Yo, I got that Series S," and then someone's like, "Yo, I got a PS5." They're like, "Yo, that's Series X and S," and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems very elitist in the way that like,
It's
I got a Series S,
definitely.
Series X.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I want to say their strategy to try to defend them, but I agree there's some problems here. But to try to defend them a little bit, I think it was probably because their whole idea is like to extend these platforms. You know, a lot of it, they've been arguing that you might not even need one of these new consoles specifically because you can stream things through Game Pass,
Yeah.
right? So I think they're trying to kind of extend it. I agree the naming conventions aren't the best, but I'm still convinced this is probably the final console generation. I'm putting that out on the record here.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting
because
there.
you think streaming will take over,
For
I'm guessing,
sure,
right?
For sure. I mean, we may
Yeah.
get like a Fire Stick Xbox or something like that type of
Oh yeah, yeah.
situation.
Like
But
it's
Maybe?
essentially like what I was about to say. What Google's jumping into right now is that whole with Stadia, with what you can do with on mobile between Stadia and between Xbox Game Pass right now. Consoles are slowly but surely, especially as technology and mobile stuff gets better.
Yeah. I mean, now we're playing
you gonna-
indie games on our phone through Game Pass and playing Minecraft Dungeons. I mean, this is amazing. Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be the last one. I think we're getting closer to it, but I think we might get another series or two of consoles just because as we continue to like push forward technology, like it might not be the way that we think of it. It might be more like VR
Good
based
point.
consoles.
Oh yeah,
Because we're
definitely.
developing more things like that because there was a point a few years ago where I'm not sure if anyone remembers this, but they were trying to market like this whole VR system where you had like a treadmill thing where you could walk on it
Yeah.
as you were doing like
Oh,
your
yeah.
VR, and they were like this whole
I've tried it. It's
like
really cool.
harness
Omnidirectional
system that they were trying to sell.
treadmill.
That's right.
Or
And,
better,
That's a good point, D. Excellent point. Yeah. I mean, that
Or
tech
better
can't be
yet-
just translated to a phone at this point. That's
Yeah.
No.
or even better yet, think about it this way. Suppose it just goes forward, but it doesn't necessarily exclude the older generation. Like, what is stopping Microsoft from putting an Xbox Game Pass app for cloud streaming on the Xbox One?
Oh,
You know?
it already is. But you're saying like to extend it.
Cloud streaming, yeah, to extend it. So
Oh, yeah,
cloud
yeah.
streaming.
Oh, the
Yeah.
cloud side. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's exactly
so
their
now
plan.
Now you got set top. Now you got set top boxes. You don't have a console. You just
Exactly.
have a set top.
Yeah, I think that's their whole
Yeah.
plan. And you guys probably heard the rumors that
Yeah.
they were talking about maybe getting Game Pass on the Switch or other stuff. That's not
Yeah.
again, not fully substantiated, even just from a rumor standpoint, how they were talking about
Cross
it.
fingers.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I think Microsoft is realizing like it's not what you're playing it on, but
Oh,
where
yeah.
you're playing it, how you're playing it, all that stuff.
A lot of companies are just understanding that video gaming is a software game, not necessarily
Yeah,
a
service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Service
sure.
and
At
software,
least
yeah.
one more console generation, so we can get new names. Because again, Series X is bad. We need like an
And on a
Xbox
better note than that.
Permanent.
Yeah.
Or
You don't
like
want
an
to end on a low
Xbox
note.
finale. That would sound dope, but Xbox Series X is so just full, like your mouth of marbles.
Plus, I don't think that
name.
Nintendo's ever really going to stop putting out consoles because even if it's handhelds rather than like console. So we're always going to at least have that because Nintendo's just
Nintendo though is
The
finding
only
different
company
ways to do
that
stuff,
that
though.
is like doing a good job releasing another console and another console is Nintendo, in my opinion, because
yeah.
each console is far and away different. They have like
Yeah.
different mechanics for each. Like Switch
they-
isn't necessarily, I guess, like
Yeah.
crazy different, but I mean the fact that it's so mobile and it has the power of a console. the
I got a
Wii
theory
was
on that.
Crazy, like
I got a theory on
they
that.
innovate, but like with like mechanics. Go ahead.
I say it's how you play. So honestly, in my household, I only have a Nintendo Switch and I have a gaming PC, but I have like nearly 20 different gaming controllers. I have two Xbox 360. I have one NES. I have this theory that what you're going to see is the differentiator is not necessarily who has exclusive, who has the software, but it's physically how you play. That identifies how you have something like the N64 controller, the GameCube controller.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they really figured that out. It's like how the input method of how you play, whether it's the Wii, whether it's the Switch Joy-Cons, they figured out it's how you play, not necessarily necessarily, of course, the what you play, they're pretty
I mean,
good.
that's a good point. And backing that up, and shout out to Grizzly Bear for for hosting this stream. And a couple comments I want to read here. But just Tony, to your point, I mean, I think Nintendo's specialty has never been necessarily pushing the envelope, for example, on the graphical side since the GameCube, right? The GameCube was like, at that point, they like gave up the idea about like graphical parity. At that point, they said, let's take these other cheap technologies, gyroscopes, microphones, speakers, all that stuff. Let's throw them in there in a really creative way and allow people to play differently. The other thing about Nintendo though is they don't really seem like all of the console wars to me. It's like a Greek tragedy of like hubris, where it's like every console.
It's an arms race.
It is, and it's like always like Nintendo seems to do their best after their worst console, right? After the GameCube, we got the Wii. After the Wii U, we got the Switch. And I mean, PlayStation, for example, PlayStation 2, best-selling console of all time, and then they went into PlayStation 3 like $600. Rumble was last generation feature. We're taking it off, and
cell processor,
cell technology, exactly. Yeah. Let me read a couple comments here. Shout out to Derivative. Enjoyed watching his stream. If you are not checking that out, you need to. He is similar to us. He likes to highlight indie games. Like, he does a fantastic job. His whole stream is dedicated to indie games. Definitely check that out. He wrote, they should have stoked the flames and just called the Series X Dreamcast 2. That would have been something for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have bought it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I might have.
Just for the lulz.
Then I would have probably gone with I might have gone with like a white gray console. So I got to go black consoles all day, but then I might have gone with the Dreamcast 2 if they released that in white or gray. They'll have to get Darts of Bulba saying they'll have to get Windows Mobile actually working. Ooh, hit on Microsoft. Layla, sorry, our Nightbot Streamlabs bot seems to be overly aggressive. I apologize. I'll figure that out so you can share your emojis. Grizzly Bear saying Nintendo's great. Tony Tiger saying amen, brother. I feel like we need to extend Indie Game Club and like almost expand it to be able to talk about stuff like this, because I love talking about news.
Yes.
Of course, our seventh guest. Courtney enjoys talking about that as well, so we'll bring Courtney back. Layla, do you want to speak on her behalf before she leaves? I don't know if you are or not.
I was like,
you're trying to think of what she's gonna say.
Literally, I know that you were like saying something that we couldn't get rid of. You couldn't get rid of me if you wanted to.
So she's
gonna be here every week.
She's literally
yeah. Spooky does it really good. I make her sound like this like evil little lady in the corner. She's like, I'm watching you.
She's creeping behind that Pac-Man.
Hey guys,
she's creepy. Yeah. Tony, you want to do her voice?
All right.
You got to tack on an hour at the beginning because we're almost an hour in.
No, we're gonna go fast. I know. We haven't even
I promise you, this is indie stream beforehand.
Oh, right, indie games. I forgot.
It's a secretly AAA club. We're trying to.
Right. Yeah. No. Totally.
We're trying to
convert the very vast number of people that play indie games to go over to the very small group of people that play AAA, because there's not enough over there.
AAA games club too.
That's the direction that we need to convert
for
people.
Just 90 cents a day. You can.
I just want people to know I'm not in Nintendo's pocket, but I wouldn't mind.
Right.
So Nintendo, if you're watching, please totally sponsor.
We are not above selling out. Just because it says indie.
Like just Nintendo. Just so you know.
Oh, there you go. Nice. All right. So without further ado, should we go ahead and talk indie games?
Sony.
Is that cool? Yeah. All right. Let's get to it, folks. What you've all been waiting for. Let's go over to indie games. So the first game we are going to start off with is called An Airport Game. Let's get to this trailer right here. So that was an airport game from Conic Games. Can somebody give a brief description of what we are looking at, how it plays, the basic overview for our audience who may not fully grasp it from the trailer alone?
All right. Yeah. It's a yeah, I'm unmuted. All right, yeah. So it's a two button game. Directional buttons as well as an interact button. The idea is that you're constantly interacting with different guests, whether it's at the airport or the actual people who work at the airport. The goal of it is that you start off at 5 o'clock and then your plane is actually leaving at 6. Now, I don't want to spoil that, but there's a few things that adds and takes away from that time. So each time that you're talking to an individual and there is a decisioning on your dialogue, depending on your responses, might add time to your clock and now you're running a little late to your plane, or just certain events within the game will actually happen. Well, you'll actually gain time back or you can lose it.
Great description. And I guess you can kind of call this an RPG of sorts, right? It kind of plays like an RPG-ish. There's not really necessarily a traditional leveling up system. This whole game, even I think multiple playthroughs, it still was probably about half an hour or so. It was quite short. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was really subversive and tackled a lot of the problems with airports, as well as added a couple other layers that might need a disclaimer here on Potions and Pixels.
Right, yeah.
How did you all feel about this one? What was the route you took? Like when you first started the game, how did you treat people? How did you go about catching your flight?
So when I got started, I was doing typical airport things because I was like, well, some of these options, like, oh, I want to go in the express lane. What do you do? Ask him, please, if you can, or show him your gun. Like,
yes.
I'm going to get arrested, so I'm not going to do that.
Can you elaborate on that option just so people know that you're not joking? That is an option in the game.
It's actually an option. So what happens is, like, you see the line to get through, to get processed and show them your boarding pass and everything. And that line would take 300 minutes. Obviously, you won't make your flight if you sit in that line. There's an empty express lane. So you go over there to talk to the guard, and you're like, hey, can I go through this line? And he's just like, this is for express lane people only. Please go over there. So you can pick okay, which is just, you're not going to make your flight. You can choose, please, I really need to get to my plane. Or you can pick, show your gun. And I'm just like, how do I have a gun? I don't remember packing this.
Yeah.
2, this is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else packed my bag.
Yeah.
And because we know that Indie Game Club has some spoilers.
Oh, all spoilers.
I'm not going to say this. I'm going to say this. I didn't expect that to be the right option.
Yeah.
Wait, what? That was the right option?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
That's how you get license points. Yes.
Tony!
Wait. Okay.
Because there's a bad ending.
It is.
There's a bad ending where it's like, did you really win? Because you were mean to a boarding attendant.
To get the bad ending. Okay.
Yeah, and then
to get the best ending, to get like the you were nice to everybody ending, you show him your gun, and he's like,
no, bro. No. So
I don't understand either.
Oh, I want to hear Tony. I want to hear your ending.
I never. So I always take the approach like, let's do something really. Choose all the responses that would kill time. So that's essentially what I was doing. So when I went to go speak to the person at the front desk,
what do you mean by kill time? That would take the most time?
No, so So certain things. So I was talking to the front desk lady, talked about her emotions, talked about blah blah this, blah blah that, and then, honestly, and then
Tony, I wonder, is that how you and your wife have conversations? I was talking to her about emotions and blah blah this,
blah blah that.
Yeah, man. And so what happened was that I ended up getting like a niceness, and I see that's the thing too. Like, you don't actually up front. They never tell you that, hey, how to win the game. You just need to know, like, hey, you need to get to the airport. And me, I'm like, well, if it's killing time, I always like taking the bad route, like in these type of decisioning trees. I always like, hey, let's kill the most time. Let's talk about people's emotions. When it came to the TSA agent, I actually negotiated with him. I don't know how it happened, but I gave him shampoo because he had dandruff, and he let me through. So it's like
not that TSA agent.
That was the second.
Oh, there was
before that.
That's the
so
first one that you go to.
I never showed a gun. I never showed a gun.
The first one
I never showed it.
The first 2 people in that line.
All right, sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, first 2 people in that line, like the one where you're trying to go through the express lane, you have to show your gun. He's like, "Oh, you should show the guy up there your gun." I'm like, "This feels like a trap."
He's like, "We
okay.
love guns.
Yeah.
Go
He's like,
show
"Yeah.
him the
Are you
gun."
serious?
And yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you're
amazing.
the boarding pass guy, and you're like, "Here's my gun." He's like, "Oh, that's so cool, the model of a gun, but I can't let you board the plane with that." And it's like
Really?
the options there are like, "Okay, I should go home." Well, I want to
Which
keep
immediately
it.
loses you the game, by the way. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well,
And then the other
Well,
one is
it
you
does
can
it?
have it.
Okay.
I always chose the boring end because I kept talking to the people.
That's what you're
then I
supposed to
kept,
do.
That's what you're supposed to do.
and,
Yeah.
and then I got to the end, and I got to the end. They're like, "Yeah, board the fight." But I kept like talking to them. I kept getting nice. Now that's the very important
get
thing
all
about
of
this
them.
game is that you never knew what the niceness was. I kept getting nicenesses. Hey, you get one niceness, you get another niceness. Each time you talk to an individual and you choose a nice route, but I never knew what that was. And so by the time I got to the airplane, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the nicest guy in the world. Come join the plane." So I didn't know. I chose never to show the gun just because of like traveling. I feel like at an airport, maybe showing people you have a gun is not a
Well,
good
that's how you
thing.
get all the niceness points, which is how you get like the
My
best
confusion-
ending.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me do a quick stop here and just give a shout out to the Mage, friend of the show, awesome, amazing person. Thanks so much for hosting us. We really appreciate it so much. Got all your viewers over here. You are the man, and I know
Thank you.
Mage is doing some cool stuff on his
Yeah.
stream, so definitely check him out. They're actually making an RPG together with his followers, so they're writing a whole thing. I know, D, you'd probably be very interested in that part. All right, so let's go back to this with a couple comments. Darth Sebulba said, "Gotta pull those guns out at the checkpoints."
I should have. I had no idea. Like,
Amar is saying TSA Bay. I think that is perfect. TSA Bay. And the Mage saying, "Love indie games." Thank you, Mage. Really appreciate it so much. You are the man.
I don't get how you make it through the metal detector
with a gun.
With a second gun?
With a second gun.
With if you didn't give the first guy your gun,
I should have shown.
How do you get through the checkpoint in the
I
first?
like that if you show the second guy your gun, like he doesn't like react to it at all. Like
he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't care about the gun. Move along," and you're like.
I assumed
he cares about the shampoo.
I assumed showing a gun would be an automatic.
Let's go to jail over shampoo.
You guys got the fun.
Exactly.
You guys got the.
He's
fun
like, "You're gonna build a
idiots.
bomb with the shampoo."
I
So
should
the
have
gun
showed a
doesn't
gun.
matter, but the shampoo. Okay, sir, I think you need to go back to training.
Yeah, I ended up playing it 3
missed
or
a few
4
steps.
times to get like the full
Me too.
ending. I would say. I think like the full ending is when you like max your nice meter
Niceness.
up. And so, do we want to talk about like? I guess there's 5 points of being nice, right? Like first, you start off. What is it? Checking your bag, right?
Yeah, you're talk to that lady about her emotions and yada yada.
Yeah,
and blah blah blah.
yeah.
And then the second is you show the TS agent your gun, and he's really
You
impressed.
show the other one your gun and give it to
And
him
you give him your gun, and he's really appreciative that you gave him your gun.
because he thinks it's so cool.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, it kind of bugs if you try to talk to him again, and it will lock you into another conversation where you can go through the entire thing again, giving him your gun a second time somehow, and just burning time without giving you any niceness. So don't talk to TSA Agent 2 twice.
That happened to me.
Don't do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
happened
what
to me
happened
too.
That's exactly what happened to me, and then I was confused because I didn't understand what I did wrong. And actually, Derivative in the chat here mentioned he told me what to do right there. And so yeah, and with that second agent, that's what did I say?
And you go to
No, that's the second agent.
That's the second agent right there. You
The
give-
guy that you show the gun, the guy you give the gun to.
Yeah.
third guy you give shampoo to.
Third guy. Yeah.
Yes.
The third TSA agent is the fourth person you run into. That's the guy you get the shampoo.
Yeah,
to.
and then the fifth is Papa Pizza.
Who doesn't have pizza?
Yes.
Yes, pasta.
I did the
He does
pizza.
not have any pizza.
I didn't actually check
you
if
just
he had
helped him
pizza.
out.
Does he not have pizza?
He doesn't
He's
have
not-
I
pizza.
always went straight
I
to
don't have
pasta.
He's like, no,
Literally
it's just the
twice the
name.
time.
All I have is spaghetti, but nobody ever gets my spaghetti.
And so we
And
got
you're
this
like,
spaghetti, and he's like, "Thank you so much for getting my pasta. I really appreciate it." Niceness. And it was just like, okay, that makes sense.
That's what I got. Yeah.
And I
The
said,
first time I played through, I played like I'm trying to make my flight.
Same.
So
Yeah, exactly.
because I tried to get on the plane and it said you have to eat first, I got the spaghetti or the pasta, and it was like one niceness point. And I was like, I don't give a shit about your niceness. I'm trying to make my flight.
Yeah.
And then you have to. What I didn't like is that there is no level of niceness that you can have that gives you any ending other than going off on the lady at the end, other than getting all of the niceness.
You got to maximize.
What? So I must have got all the niceness because I got like a really generic ending. I just walk onto the plane.
Did you yell at the lady to get on the plane and then you just went straight on the plane?
No. I just kept talking to her and she was just like, yeah.
I mean, at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end. It wasn't anything she yelled at. There was no type of confrontation or nothing.
If it says you have to pick between I'll help you board people or go off on her, those are the two choices. And if you don't have enough niceness,
I chose the board people. I chose the board.
But if you don't have 5 niceness, it won't let you do it.
Yeah, so I think you got like the standard. Yeah, I think you got like the standard ending.
Then you have to pick go off on.
Okay, Tony, did all the people that you help stand in a line and tell you how amazing you are?
Yes, they did.
Well, then
I don't know how you got that.
I don't know how you did that
Maybe
without
said you never gave the guy a gun. So I don't know what you did. You bugged the system. You rigged the system.
Well, that's cool.
And congrats.
Yeah. And like essentially at the end, it's literally she asked, "Do you want to help me board people or not?" I just like, "Yeah, I help you board." And she said, "You're a really nice person," and I just walk on the plane.
Huh. Hey, well, I want to figure out how you did that without the gun. Maybe we only needed 4 niceness points.
I
tried it with
4. I didn't know you needed a gun.
I tried with 4 because I didn't know that you needed to show a gun to people, and so I tried it with like 3 and then 4 niceness points, and it still.
We just got a burst of viewers that is probably so confused about what we're talking about. So let's catch up all of Mage viewers on this real quick. First off, shout out to Mystic Titanus. Thank you so much, friend of the show, for those 200 bits. Appreciate it. You are amazing.
Yay!
Thank you, Grizzly Bear, for those bits. You are fantastic. You guys got some awesome questions in here too. Really appreciate y'all. I don't know why I'm pointing to this while I'm reading this camera right here. A couple things. So Grizzly Bear is asking, what was your favorite ending? I think we probably got a unified approach to that. We'll get over that. We'll get to that in 1 second. Darsaboba says you can 3D print a working gun. I don't know who needed to hear that, but thanks, Darsaboba. And then the Mage is asking, what engine was an airport game made in? That's a good question. What do you guys? I actually do not know.
I can find out really quick.
That would be awesome, D, if you could. I'm very curious about it. It's interesting because the whole game is essentially dialogue with, kind of minimal choices. Very interested in that. Layla, can you kind of tell us what you think the moral of this game is? What is the lesson here?
Don't be an asshole at airports. Which actually makes me want to talk about my last experience at the airport.
Let us know.
So first of all, I'm not really good with airports anyway. I've been wanting to travel more, and the last time I went, the employees there, I guess they're so stressed out because of COVID and everything, which is understandable. But they literally talk to you, like me not flying very often, they literally talk to you like you're stupid and you're wasting time and you're wasting everybody's time. And you don't know what the heck you're doing. I was like, I don't. You guys are supposed to like. Can I ask you a question? Can I get assistance? Like, if I don't know where I'm going, is it okay if I ask you, or you're going to be an asshole to me? Like, I don't understand.
Layla, I got a question for you. Did you show your gun?
Listen. So this is what I wanted to talk to y'all about.
Oh God, no!
Last time I told y'all I've had bad experiences with flying, and they make me nervous. So my grandparents, they used to work at this flea market, right? They had their little shop. They sold home decor and like self-defense items and whatnot. And I was really big into anime. I've always been pretty big into anime. But my grandparents, one day, they got in a shipment of these throwing knives, like these kunais. And I was like, oh, these are dope. I love these. And I put them in my bag because I was packing it because I was moving. And I went through the little, checkout line and everything, and they're just like, do you have anything that you shouldn't have on you? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, no, I don't. And they were like, okay, we're going to have to pull somebody over here. Just don't make any sudden movements. Don't reach in your bag. Like, just stand right here while they go through your stuff. And I was like, okay, go ahead. And the freaking officer comes over. He picks up my box, and my face, I swear, I was like, oh no, oh no. He literally looked at me and was like, really? And I was like, take him, just take him. I don't even want him. Like, I don't want to go to jail.
no.
Just take him, please. Like, I don't want them. And so like they laughed at me. I was like, I promise I'm not like a ninja or anything. I don't even know how to use them. And so they took
That's
them.
Did you
pretty
really
good.
say, I
Don't
promise
lie.
I'm not a ninja?
I did. I said, I promise I'm not, I have no specialty in the art of throwing knives, sir. Like, I was like, please just take them. It was horrible. So yeah,
Oh,
I was
man, that
on the
is-
phone. I was like, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. Like 18. It was
That is
horrible.
scary.
Gracious.
Something similar happened to me pre 9/11, and back in those days, if you all remember, like those were the days where they would, the airports were rolling in it, so they would give you straight up liquor bottles, and just like while you were sitting there taking your flight. And then I remember coming back from Poland. I'm the first U.S. born member of my family. And my family, when we traveled back and forth there, I had a knife, like just in my jacket pocket, and they let me take it on, like completely. And,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
pretty nice.
You know, that's
Back in the day.
So
I would have got shot. You know.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, excuse me, what about this gun right here? And they were like,
Right,
oh,
right.
you're a white man? Oh, okay. No, you're good.
So
A little
is it a
political
pistol or is it a
humor for you.
rifle? Oh, only a pistol. Okay.
Only a pistol.
It's only a hunting knife. It's fine.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
Obviously.
just a machete.
We got a couple comments here. Amar says, a question: would the TSA let you fly with Courtney in your bag?
Courtney.
It depends. Is Courtney talking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
think
you
that'd be
go. There you go.
confirmed.
Does Courtney have a knife? Does she have a gun?
Does she have a gun?
He's also
It's in her
saying,
80s backpack.
yeah, if her,
She's smuggling cigarettes from New York. You know, like-
I had a
Not
story
allowed to
like that
smoke
at
on the
school.
plane.
I took some cigarettes from my brother when he was younger because he shouldn't be smoking, but I kept them in my pocket. And I got into a situation where I had to crumble them in my pocket because I was worried that people would catch me and think I was smoking cigarettes. Anyway, Amar is saying, kunai on a plane? That is some Naruto stuff right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grizzly Bear for them bits. Appreciate it. Boop, boop, boop. Whatever that announcement, however you
Yeah.
make that. I can't do it. Appreciate it. Athena Alliance saying, Layla's so innocent but seems so sus by nature. Uh-oh.
Oh.
We got an Among Us
No.
happening right here. We're going to have to throw somebody out of the airlock.
No, Layla is still very, very
what you gotta
innocent.
do.
That is literally an Among Us freaking comment right there. Emmy.
Darts
He's
above us
just a
saying
little
left the
sus.
sword in the
Okay.
suitcase. Real quick side note about Among Us. Real quick side note. Does it feel a little hipster cool, like to be able to be like, yeah, I played
You
Among
played it
Us.
before it blew up?
Yeah, it's just like,
No, I don't. You see, I don't think that's hipster. To me, it feels more like I tried to get you guys to play this game forever, and nobody ended up acknowledging that this existed. But now you're all on board with playing it, and so now I'm upset
Yes.
because you think you're introducing
Yeah.
me to it.
exactly.
Because
Everything you
I'm
said.
already over Among Us,
Because
and then all of a
it-
sudden it started blowing up,
influencer.
and I was like, "Why is everybody talking about Among Us?" I tried to get everybody to play it. I've
think-
already been through the fad like
I
months
think
ago.
Femfox
You
was
guys
caused
were
an
the
issue
influencer.
because she tried to get like the Alliance to play it earlier on. And we were just like, I don't know about Among Us. Doesn't seem like. And now we're all like Among Us everything.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
And people should play it. We love, the developers.
Oh no,
do a
it's a
cool job.
great
It's
game.
lot of
It's
fun.
very
Oh
fun.
my
Just,
God.
you know-
We have a whole group message now that goes off of everybody who in the community that wants
the
to
Athena
play.
Allies and the Athena Alliance. If you play Among Us, we have a group chat now.
Yeah, no, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. It is just a little weird for all of us indie hipster folks who were like back in 2018, like y'all should check out this game, and everybody's like nerds, or whatever reaction they were saying. Derivative saying it's so bizarre that it did so good unexpectedly they canceled the sequel. Yes, they did indeed cancel the sequel
They
and
did?
decided
I
to
did not see
incorporate I think it was announced yesterday that they were
Ah.
going to just incorporate everything that they planned for the sequel right into the game. So shout out to the developers there. Definitely
Yeah.
did a fantastic job. It is funny though, Michael Dupre or Barbastic. I'm sorry, I said I'm sorry, I'm spitting your legal out here. My bad.
Wow,
I
dang.
wanted to ask you
That's a
here
government
because
name.
you and I have discussed this. I wanted to get your words on the record here. Can you tell the crowd that indeed your boy here was in the works of designing a very similar concept game? Just because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is whenever that gets released, if it does, people are going to be like, "Whoa, he's straight up ripped Among Us."
So Mike hits me up with this idea like 2 years ago, talking about which I mean technically was probably right around when Among Us came out originally.
It might have,
but
yeah. I've been working on this
but
for
it
a
wasn't.
time.
It hadn't blown up. Nobody had really played it yet. So even I actually found Among Us by watching a streamer months ago before it now is huge. And brought it to Mike's attention, was like, well, this game is kind of similar to that idea that you pitched me not knowing that it had come out like 2 years ago. And then a few weeks later, we played it during a game night. And but yes, Mike had a similar idea.
That I'm working on still, and I'm still going to put
he's
out.
still working on.
And all of you folks can chastise me
And
when it comes
well,
out.
I have not heard any progress about
You
it.
need test
The idea's already been had.
No, it's a totally different. I'm actually not
okay,
a fan
good,
of like
good,
the
good.
mini games in Among Us. If I'm being honest, it's like a
That's
party
true.
game, and that's not for me. I want like, I want it to feel like you're taking a
It's
test.
a bit more of a social deduction game and less of a like
Sneak up on somebody while they're trying to do Simon Says and like knifing them in the back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Grizzly Bear in the chat saying, "I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. We love you too. Shout out. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much." Amar saying, "Most ideas go around. Mafia board game been around for a while. True that. True that." And I'm actually so glad, honestly, also because I feel like Among Us is going to open the door to a lot of social deduction games that the general public wasn't aware of. And it's like one of these things when you build genres, once the general public knows it, like a MOBA, for example, MOBAs are incredibly complex by nature, but once people like gain that gaming literacy, then you can take it up a few levels. So once people know about Among Us and then they start delving into board games, which are like the home of social deduction, then they can really dive in deeper. So, and Amar saying there are multiple board games. Yeah, shout out to Secret Hitler, or the game Secret Hitler. For those who don't know, I'm not giving a shout out to
be clear.
Just to be clear, I know
I
we're
was
talking.
worried for just a moment.
Oh, the board game. Oh.
Shout out to my boy Secret Hitler. No, just kidding. Shout out to the game Secret
You
Hitler.
did say your family's from Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah, my Jewish Polish family. Exactly.
You just said.
We are not giving any shout outs to Secret Hitler, just for the record.
Mike, so I was wondering if so one thing that's really good about this game is that it has a lot of funny dialogue.
Yes.
I came across the Verizon guy once. So the Verizon guy, and he was right next to a guy who was passing out his Fire mixtape. So that was pretty. So there's a lot of funny dialogue in this game, and then also to Baltistic. I actually didn't get. You're right. I didn't get the lineup. My ending was really bland vanilla. It was boring as crap. I mean, apparently I should have showed a gun.
You should show your gun to TSA agents when you go. Everybody.
Yeah.
You have a gun at the airport.
In general,
whip it out
to the TSA.
in front of somebody.
I love those Easter eggs.
Out of context. That was bad.
I'm glad you brought that up. There's so many Easter eggs.
There were the friends.
Yes, we were on a break.
Ross, Rachel, and Phoebe make an appearance. Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers make an appearance.
I didn't talk to enough people. I should have.
I talked to every.
I was terrified that they were going to take my time.
Well, while I was looking for niceness points, I was like, I have to talk to everyone. What if they do?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, once I noticed that they don't take away time as you just sit there and talk to just the normal people standing around or looking at the plants. Did you guys look at all the pictures? I looked at every single painting.
Yeah, and the vending machines that were like, now you feel suddenly warm. Now you feel suddenly
this trash can is empty.
Yeah.
Those flat escalators, what do they call those?
So here's a quick, clear distinction too. The game isn't real time, so you really don't just have an hour. It's actually you can sit there and be like playing for 10 minutes, and it's still on like 6 o'clock or 6:05.
The full game time, is only
because it adds and it adds and it takes away time based off of the dialogue that you have and the actions that you have that you take.
Yeah, and if you're making good nice choices, the flight gets delayed, which I guess is a good thing. Right?
That was the thing. Yeah,
which can we all discuss? That doesn't happen. That's bullshit.
It is.
Don't be.
I love the second delay when there's a double rainbow.
Double rainbow. And
all
all
of the
pilots are just staring at it.
Amazed by it.
I just like that the
dog.
The message you're supposed to get from this is don't be an asshole all the time. Yeah. But when you're at the airport
And own
You
guns.
can't
Do what you gotta
afford to be nice.
Yeah, do what
You'll
you
miss
gotta
your
do.
flight.
Make it to your
Don't
flight,
do that.
because sometimes your flight is accelerated in time. It's like, oh, you thought you had to be there at 6? Well, now we're leaving at 5:45. Good luck getting there.
Yes.
Yep.
She
Yeah,
came
no,
out of
this game-
nowhere, Layla. I was looking at the camera, I looked down, and all of a sudden,
I was like, what was that? It's just my child.
Marching right in. I love it. I love it. Athena Alliance saying shout out to Hitler. Okay.
No.
And this is how
emoji
this
faces.
is how we get demonetized.
Yeah, exactly.
It was nice having sponsorship.
Yeah,
while we had it.
exactly. Next
We're
week.
a safe community, guys. I promise. We're a safe community.
Yeah, just to be clear, yeah, if next week when we're not on, it's again, we're having a break next week. We haven't been canceled. We promise you.
By the way, actually,
That
if
we know
you-
of. Yeah.
the first sign that you're forced to talk to 40 million times, because I wanted to play multiple times, that sign
Yeah.
was the death of me. When it moves back and lets you buy, if you read it, not talk
Yeah.
to it, if you read it again once it's moved, it will tell you about being nice.
It does,
and so it
And
does
if
kind
you
of give you an extra
Go
rundown.
into the game again, it tells you, like, if you haven't gotten a good ending that second time around, it's like, hey, if you're nice to people, good things happen. So maybe you should try doing that.
So maybe it's only when you do it the second time. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Athena Alliance is also mentioning Town of Salem. So just to be clear to those who are watching, we're talking about the game Secret Hitler, which is a satire of fascism in Germany.
And we're
It's a
talking
social
about the
deduction
game
It's not
Town
a
of
pro-
Salem.
Sure we
So
are.
not that you should go to
Yeah,
the
you should
town
not
of
burn
Salem.
witches. Just to be clear here, I don't want anybody like
Please don't burn witches.
no burning witches at
Please
all.
don't.
Not approved. Any final words
Thumbs
on this
down.
before we move to our next game?
It was cute. I
Yeah.
feel like there should have maybe been like I was expecting, because of the look of it, it's like you have to get to your flight by this time. Like, oh, this is gonna be like another Night of the Consumers, where we're trying to like avoid people and like through the airport and like get.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, existential anxiety again. Let's do this. No,
Right,
nothing
right.
happened in the airport. I was like, I am oddly calm, and it makes me more concerned.
Yeah.
Right though.
I did like. I don't know if anybody else noticed the Easter egg of when you go into the TSA checkpoint line, and you're like, wow, that's a really long line. If you talk to the guard and you don't want to waste time at all, right? I was
Yeah.
trying not to waste any time the first run through.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna, then if the line's too long, you can't let me by, then I'm just gonna go to the next one, because the sign in front of it says, if you don't like the line, go to the next room. I go to the next room, is
Yeah.
the exact same.
Yeah, yes.
It's an
a
infinite
loop.
hallway.
It's a loop.
Not
It's
only
an
Oh,
infinite
yeah.
hallway. Yeah.
look the exact same, then like all the people, like the guard has the same name, so it's not just that it looks the
Oh,
same.
I don't think it's a different
literally-
Yeah.
place. It's literally
No,
just an
it's
infinite loop.
literally
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
first of all,
Don't you
I
feel that
way when
thought
you're
it
in
would
the
go
airport,
like
though?
Exactly.
2 rooms.
That's exactly
Like, that's
right,
how it
Lee.
feels in the airport. The airport's an alternate realm of like just a hellscape of
That's
waiting and
a
trying
great
to
way
sprint
to
through to
talk
get
about
to your gate. It is
Who knew a
purgatory.
game with a 5-minute playtime would elicit a 30-minute discuss time?
Hey, that's how it works. That's
It
how
is.
it
We
is in the
spent
game club. We
far
go
too much
deep.
time running down that hallway.
We delve into these games.
Awesome. So now Michael Barbastic is very excited to talk about micro.
Jesus Christ.
You're very good at this.
I'm a pro. You know what it is? It's because I don't have
Talk
my
all the
grill on
time.
right now, and I'm about to put it on. It's the source of
Really?
all my magical powers.
Oh, the grill.
My God.
Really?
It's the grill.
I'll put it
Jesus
right
Peach
on.
just went up by 100.
My what?
Like a boss.
Peach just went up by 100.
Yes.
Max-
Now I can
max
say
out your
everything.
speech.
It's perfect. With the little list
Jesus.
right now. We'll see how it goes. All right,
makes
micro
everything
mages.
down
Athena
by
Alliance
5.
is saying micro mages.
Micro
Yeah,
mages.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think about the grill, Athena Alliance? You like it? Yeah? Okay. Let's hear. Courtney loves it, just so you know.
Oh,
All
of course,
next,
Courtney loves it.
Let's go to micro mages. Super excited to talk about this game right here. Make sure our sound is right. All right, this is micro mages. Check it out. All right, folks, that was Micro Mages from Morphcat Games. Can I just show y'all this quick turbo meme that Amar produced? Amar wrote in a little chat we have for the guests of Indie Game Club. He wrote, "When Michael already played the indie game you are now playing," and then showed this picture of me right here. That is me. That captures my essence, the hipster essence, perfectly. We got to meme that up and get that out there. I love it. Thank you, Amar. Let's talk about Micro Mages right here. How do you all feel about this? Can you describe it a bit more? It's unique, as people saw, because there's also an NES ROM that actually Bryant played, and it seems like, Bryant, you're sinking slower and slower, like Get Out into the bed, right? Or was it Get Out, or was that Friday the 13th I'm thinking of? What was that reference? Yeah, sink it in. I'm off, people. I don't know what I'm talking about this week. What are your thoughts about Micro Mages?
So this one was basically 8-bit platformer, 2D. Just it was like a ascending platformer. So if you fell down, you would die, kind of thing. I thought it was a ton of fun. It was one of it just brought back a lot of nostalgia for that kind of genre as I was playing it. So I thought it was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I really loved it too, man. That's actually one of my favorite, or one of my more favorite games out of all the Potions and Pixels.
Nice.
Cool thing is that it comes with a ROM, so it comes with
Yes.
like a 6-page color instruction booklet. I'm talking old NES Sega style.
Yeah.
It's a PDF. And then you get a ROM, you get a NES ROM. So if you have any type of emulators, I was playing it off of I was playing it off of the Android app on my Chromebook, so that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But ultimately, I want to get like an NES controller to actually a USB just to really go ahead and play it out.
Oh,
The game
yeah.
itself reminds me of Celeste. Would anybody agree with that?
The graphic and a bit of the climbing for sure.
The climbing, yeah.
Yeah, the graphics,
Yeah,
I think, how do you describe that kind of aesthetic? Layla, you want to jump in here on that?
Yeah, I was just saying that whenever we watched the trailer for it last week, that was the immediate thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
I was like, it reminds me of Celeste, and like all the
Yeah.
pretty colors and everything. This is probably my favorite one, just because I like those types of games. And like you said, it does bring back the nostalgia of you just trying to get through and playing those older games that we kind of stray from nowadays with the hype of all the new games and everything. It's good to go back and actually enjoy just a simple game and have the fun that we were having whenever we were playing it.
True, totally. And we should also say this game does have 4-player multiplayer, which is really cool, which I know, Barbastic, you got a chance to check out some more. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I got to play. I had my brother on stream with me. It was a lot of fun. So when you die in multiplayer, you turn into a little ghost, and you can actually continue helping by, when you use your attack, you'll freeze enemies for a split second. So you have to spam the button to make sure they stay frozen while your ally gets to kill them. So that's a whole lot of fun. And then also some of the power-ups that you can pick up, they give you like a mushroom style like extra life before you actually die.
Yeah.
If you, as the ghost, pick one up, it brings you back into the game. So you can fly up above, open a chest, and grab that while your teammate is still getting totally destroyed by some skeletons and some goblins. There's also a star that gets introduced, which I don't know if it was in the single player mode. There's a star that when you grab it, it'll swap positions with your ally. It is?
Yeah, no.
It's not.
It's not. Okay.
Definitely not. Yeah.
So in multiplayer, there's a star that one player can grab and it'll switch places. It even works while you're a ghost. It's great for skipping sections. If I'm the ghost and my brother was like having trouble getting somewhere, I flew up, opened a chest, grabbed it, and we swapped places so that he was able to skip a whole difficult section. It's also great if you're my brother, for as I'm mid-jump,
you're Barbastic's brother.
He's mid-jump, and I accidentally grab it. We swap places, I fall and die, and it's every time that I grabbed it. That's what it was for, and I don't like that.
Yeah, we were talking about this last
It's a great
week.
mechanic.
So where do you put this on the relationship ending scale? Because that's what we discussed last week in the trailer.
It's not as bad as it could be, since it's still kind of co-op. There's other games that I would very quickly end a relationship over instead of this.
All right, new idea for a show. We need to do this, guys, in the future. We need to do the top indie multiplayer games to destroy a relationship over. Maybe purposefully, you want to end your relationship, and it's just yo, this ain't working out. Let's play Overcooked
So Among Us
together.
has to be on that list.
Among Us is probably
unrailed. Just
unrailed.
Why didn't you get the wood when I told you to get the wood?
As Mike said, Overcooked is a good one for it too.
Yeah.
Clean the dishes, and they're like, I don't belong in the kitchen, and you're like, right now you do. We're all.
Are we talking? What are we talking about?
Overcooked.
Here?
I was saying
Overcooked. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Okay.
Bomberman. Amar mentions Bomberman. That is a fantastic. Yes.
Yes. And the new we have the new Bomberman Online coming out, or just came out, right? Oh, I think beads are falling out of this thing. I keep wondering what the hell. Oh god. I'm sorry. There's literally beads that are inside this thing falling on me, and I'm
goat is dying.
What is going on here?
You killed
All right,
the goat.
Mike. All right. He's talking about Hitler. He's sacrificing goats on stream.
I'm saying,
we need sponsorship, please.
It was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, I know. Back to poverty and nonprofit activism work. Bye, everybody.
I'm hiding your violence from Evie.
What was that?
I'm hiding your violence from
I
Evie.
know. I'm
You're
sorry,
calling her.
Eevees.
Don't let him get to
But,
Evie. He'll sacrifice your Eevees.
Yo, one thing I want to call.
Secret Hitler.
D, tell us what
One thing
do
I want to
you
call
think
out for the micro mages is that the music was really awesome. It reminded me of Shovel Knight, and then they had this save system that takes it way back, man. It's a password thing. So you had
I still have mine written down. If you guys want to skip any levels, guys.
Oh my god.
Here's the thing. This is 2020, so you had to write down a password to see which world or which tower you were on.
I love it.
But get this, man. In 2020, I just pulled out my phone and took a picture.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Actually, yeah, same thing. Because I played mine on my cell phone, and so I just took a shot. That's all I did. Just
that's dope.
All right, D, I know you were wanting to jump in here. Let us know your thoughts.
So with I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I had had a controller to play it with, because I will say it's a very difficult game to play on your keyboard.
Yes.
Very difficult because
Those
it's
jump maneuvers.
the jump maneuvers, trying to scale your way up the side of the wall to platform properly. I was like, why do I not have a USB controller to plug into my laptop? I need to fix this.
Why don't
because
we need to talk about that.
right now.
So,
because I
What
wasn't
kind of
really.
gamer are you? We thought you were a gamer.
Oh no!
Because
Don't
for
do
one,
it,
I was
Brian.
a console
D's
gamer.
about to hit
Brian.
you hard.
I've told you this
had-
before. I primarily played on PlayStation for the longest time,
Yeah.
and I'm just getting back into PC gaming. So I don't have a
Alright,
controller
alright.
for my PC yet, but that's something that is
Alright.
on my list of things to get.
There you go.
Okay, just minor segue. If you have a PS4, Bluetooth controllers connect to your PC. That's
I don't have a Bluetooth controller.
really
Not the Bluetooth one. I just have the wireless controller that just syncs to it, but it's not Bluetooth.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think.
Yeah.
Sure, it is
If it's
Bluetooth.
PS4, it is. If it's
Yeah,
PS4,
it's
you
naturally
need adapter.
Bluetooth.
I actually don't have Bluetooth.
Interesting.
connected. I didn't
PS4
know that.
and
be able to-
Xbox
you
One.
should be able to
The
take the
latest
USB
consoles
from
are
your
all
PS4
Bluetooth.
controller, plug it in, and it should work.
Should be able to do.
if I'm correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might have to do that then.
Yeah, it might be worth
Yeah.
checking that out. For
Again,
sure.
I haven't played on a PC in the longest time, and Indie Game
Fair
Club is
enough.
what's making me do it. And I am enjoying it because, like I said, I love playing games that I would not have normally played for myself.
Yeah, totally.
And it's great. I love it. So I will do that.
Yeah.
So definitely bring me back so I can actually use a controller on these PC games.
Yeah, it's funny. I think most of the games we haven't really haven't to need controllers or not. I know an airport game didn't allow controller. At least not for me. And Rival
I use X-Patter. I use Xpatter for that.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. That's
Yeah,
I could totally
yeah.
do that. Yeah. I like what you guys were saying. A lot of references to Shovel Knight, to old school NES games. I love the save game kind of system. It really takes you back. Reminds me of old school, what Castlevania 1 type stuff. Where,
Metroid 1.
yes, when you're throwing in some save games
Oh.
there. I'm really feeling it all.
Oh.
I enjoyed the gameplay, super simple, super nostalgic. I did like the kind of, it reminded me a little bit of Super Meat Boy in terms of that wall jumping mechanic, which was really solid. We got a couple comments here. Athena Line saying, "Blink once if you need help, Courtney." Is Courtney the one that needs to blink, or is it us? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I have to get a Courtney doll. This is my 2020 goal. All right, let's see. Athena Line saying they played it over the summer. So much fun. Bomberman definitely relationship ender for sure. Athena Line saying Pokemon in full effect tonight. Gonna have to play Temtem soon. Yeah, we got to talk about that. Derivative saying you can also plug it in your PC USB. Yeah, if you're doing that's a good point for the PS4. You can also do it through USB. Good call there. Tony Taiga on the show here doing double duty. Let's see what he's got to say in chat. I'm reading these blind, so you guys could be saying, like, man, Mike is sucking it up today. Like,
I'll say that then.
Because Tony Tiger saying, because of the old school password system, this takes this game to 2020 with cross-platform play, starring PC and shifted to Chromebook. Oh, snap! You're right, dude. Old school cross-platform play. You're right. Athena Lion saying Neon Abyss uses the password format too. Neon Abyss is slightly different. It's not Neon Abyss's system is a seed system, so there's like a password, but it's more like a seed for how it generates the world. So Neon Abyss and other roguelikes, you're starting to see that trend where after you play a level that was generated by the game, procedurally generated, it provides you a seed that then you can go back and like share. So if you were doing, like, for example, oh boy, what happened here? Everybody's back. Tempest 636 now following. Appreciate that. I don't know if you guys saw that. Did you guys see that too? Like everything.
We saw you go out.
Yeah, you went out.
I went out. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I must have said game.
You're back now,
I don't know.
It's fine.
But yeah, you have a seed, and the seed
Game
kind
stop
of
again.
allows you to jump on there. Tempest 636 saying, "How was I not already a follower? WTF? It's all good. All is forgiven, man. You're a follower now. We love you. We appreciate you.
That's cool.
It's
that's
all
cool.
good.
Never too late.
Darcy Bulba saying Mega Man 5 used a pattern passcode system. Yeah, we need to bring those back until we forget what the passcode is, and then we're like, why the hell did we love this stuff? Yeah, this is wild. Any thoughts about this, Layla? What are you thinking about Micro Mages here?
I definitely liked it. Like I said, this is probably my favorite one. Just because, just the gameplay is more my thing. Out of the other ones, the airport one terrified me. I was already terrified before I even played it. So,
Flashbacks to times in airports.
yes. Don't bring kunais to the airport, guys.
That's the other
Don't do it.
lesson.
You can guns are okay. Just don't bring kunais.
Apparently.
And we also should say, yes, we did indeed know that Tempest 636 was Jordan. Jordan has appeared on this show several times, hoping to have him back on as well. So we appreciate that. Go check out his channel if you want that high-level StarCraft play. Your boy is really good at that game for sure. Brian, important question. Are you going to keep on sinking down into that bed further?
Yes.
I think
Yes, I am.
was saying like sunken place. Is that the idea here? Do
So-
we need to heal?
Yeah, no. Subtly.
Whenever we
now
end the
we're-
stream, all he's gonna do is pull the covers over his head, and that's just gonna be his exit.
You can actually
Go
see the
sleep.
keys on the keyboard of his laptop now. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
See, this is one of the things I don't like about this particular laptop is that instead of having like
is your camera at the bottom of the screen?
my camera is at the bottom of the monitor, so like
That's so weird.
just by
That's
having
very
it like
bizarre.
tilted down, it's right at the level already.
that
So
looks
that's-
much better. You can keep it. Oh no.
I just keep looking
Thanks.
at your headboard. I was like, that looks comfy. It looks really Texas
looks-
too. I'm just gonna say, it looks
Yeah, it
extra
does.
Texas right now.
It does.
So
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And then just go to sleep.
There's
He doesn't sound very
There-
happy
no,
about it
there's-
looking Texas. He's like, yeah, I guess it's Texasy, sure.
We should say
There's
Layla's from
definitely
Texas,
a lot
so no disparagement to Texas. we're not all North Carolinians here. We should.
No. It's not the Texas. It's like just there's a lot of horses going on here, and it's not really
horses.
Horses?
Because
Evie's not a horse. Evie's like a fox, if I'm correct.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a fox too. Yeah.
it's a fennec fox.
Yeah,
but
so don't call him a horse. That's rude.
I meant the decor of this house. I'm not at my place. I'm at a friend's house. But the
Okay.
decor of this place is very.
You went to
Yeah.
visit a friend, and you were like, "I have other plans. I came to your house to do something
up,
else."
hold
And
up.
you bust out the
Hold
laptop.
on, let's drop the sponsorship for a second. I got some questions. So you are literally. You are literally. My man is
What you
streaming.
doing, Brian?
Hold up,
Is
Brian!
someone
You are
else's
streaming
bed?
from the bed of someone else's house. This is amazing.
Was someone else's
Great
kitten?
Don't worry about it. You're asking too many damn questions.
Hold on, do they know you're at the? Do they know you're at their house?
No, they don't know I'm at their house.
Do they know you're on their computer?
Oh my gosh.
No, I just broke in. Is that not how you guys do your streams?
No,
Is that not.
Brian. Shout out to that 2020 lifestyle right there. I don't know how to describe that.
Shout out to Amar in the chat, naming this episode "Potions and Pixels Cribs."
I love it. Potions and pixels.
I like
it.
Let's do it. Welcome to the life. Let me show you what I got in my fridge.
We'll say Brian has his priorities straight. He was gonna make it today.
Yeah. He's like, if I'm going on Indie Game Club, it's not going to be from my house tonight. Y'all said Thursday? I got plans for Thursday.
No,
And I'm also
real
gonna have
talk
a
though.
special guest of a kitten.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I was gonna
Exactly.
say. Is seriously I am helping take care of the kitten. I don't know if you guys have ever.
I'm sure you
It's
are.
like
All
1
right,
to
let's
2
go.
weeks old,
Sorry.
but
No, all right.
It has to be
my
fed
fault.
every few hours.
My fault.
yeah, it's literally we have to feed her every 2 hours, and so that's.
So
really
this game
irritating.
rivals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really
yeah,
good.
Fair enough.
That game.
All right.
That game.
My
Fair.
favorite.
All right.
Really
yeah,
good
yeah,
series.
Brian,
Cool.
we'll talk about all
Yeah,
this
we're
later.
segueing to the trailer of this great
This is
game,
called
Rival.
How to Cancel
Sequel
Potions and
to
Pixels. All right.
family.
All right, let's
He
see.
keeps joking about it, but then he keeps going back to the cancel conversation. I don't know why he's
He
doing
just
this
knows
to
it's
us.
coming. It's
It's
all right.
coming.
He's accepting it.
Self-fulfilling
He's trying to accept it in his
I'm
mind.
trying to
It's all
cancel
right.
myself. It's too much. of a
Cancel
streaming
culture has
schedule.
reached the.
It's literally to the point where I'm streaming so much, I'm just like, please cancel me. Your boy needs a break. What do I got to say?
You need some sleep, sir.
I need some
You
I
can't
sleep.
set
plug
my
into the
own
wall.
schedule.
Can we cancel
Can
me?
you
Okay,
for
Mike,
a
if
week?
you're
cancel
gonna
me,
get
sir?
canceled, I can like remove my filter now. It's fine.
Uh-oh, no. We're joking.
Like, wait, Layla, to be clear, this was. It's all right.
All right, let's get back on here. Track here, children. We're this immaturity. I will not stand for it whatsoever.
So final
Yeah,
the man in the rave
word,
room.
final word on micro mages, everybody.
Oh gosh. I know
I
where
thought
this is
it was
going.
great.
I really
Oh, okay.
No,
I
it's
thought I
fine.
knew where that was going.
Oh, did you think I was going to talk about being the only one that was able to reach the end of the game?
yes.
Yes.
On normal difficulty,
It
and nobody else did?
I thought he
I
was.
wasn't.
He was about to say
I
that.
wasn't going to talk about that, but since you bringing it up, Scarlett,
Oh my god.
me and Headhunter were able to reach the end of the game.
had
There was a
help.
nice.
You had-
There was a
you had
nice.
assistant.
Yes, exactly.
What's the?
Hold on, you and your
He
assistant.
did need help.
You mean your brother
Right.
who carried you? to
I said
the
my
end?
brother. I said me and Headhunter.
Yeah,
my
Headhunter,
brother.
the one who carried you to the end, like a little baby, and pushed you over.
It would actually, if you go back and watch the VOD,
And said, "Here's the
he-
finish line. Here you
he
go."
does carry me through some of it, but I blame that on the fact that he had a controller and I was using my
Uh-huh.
keyboard.
Oh,
You couldn't you have used the controller?
Right.
No, it was his controller.
Okay.
I was like, I guess I pulled out my Afterglow controller from way back in the day, and it just completely crapped out on me and wouldn't work, so I had to use keyboard.
Afterglow controller for me, those are my Rage controllers. Those are the ones that I replaced because my other ones were too expensive to Rage with. So I would always
Rage?
use Afterglow.
She rages?
Layla, what are you-
Guys,
Right now.
actually, I got new.
Do you not
emotes.
watch
I
Layla's
finally got it.
content?
Exactly.
Yo, look, there goes my new emote, bro. I got raging emotes. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I used to be
There we
really
go.
bad.
Oh, that's
I used
dope.
to be. I'm actually a lot better than I used to be. So
A reformed rager.
reformed rager. That's my. I'm just gonna get rid of the
That's-
angelic Layla.
That's
That's
your
a new one right there.
tagline.
It's
I
the new
love
one.
it. I love it. Yeah, I definitely have some memories. That's gonna have to be a future episode too, like top rage moments and flipping tables and all that good stuff, throwing controllers. I will say, Bard Bastic, I know you like to brag every time you're on the show, and that's why.
I don't like to.
that's why
You
we-
guys make me do it. I don't do it myself.
I will say, for those who caught my stream earlier, that I actually got to the end and I stopped right there, and for the sake of time, so I could play our next game. If I had
Didn't
a
realize how
couple-
close you were to the end.
Yeah, I was so close. I did not realize, actually. I was gonna ask somebody to let me know how many levels there were in the game, because if I would have known, I would have spent the extra few minutes.
3 levels per tower, 4 towers. The final tower has an extra one.
Nerd. All right,
So-
next game.
Okay, so I didn't get a final word from everybody before I got mocked for being good at gaming.
I'll have to give it another try when I have a controller, so that way I can actually get the full experience.
Yeah.
Of it.
That is a good way to go about it, because it definitely is a little harder on keyboard.
A lot
I
harder on a
agree.
keyboard. Like my
Yeah.
hand was starting to like.
I changed the controls, because you can go in and change the controls.
Yeah.
So I made it arrow keys and then space bar to jump, because I
Okay.
play any games on keyboard and realize that space bar is where you put the jump. I don't understand why they put it on, what was it, A and D?
Yeah.
No sense. I think I put it on space bar and left the attack on D, and it worked pretty good after that. But yeah, it was definitely fun. It's pretty challenging. I thought it was a lot more fun with because I played it for a little bit before I streamed, just to see what it was like and try to get the volume situated before I go on stream and blow out the speakers. So I went in and tried it out a little bit, and as soon as we had the two of us, it was twice as fun. I think that it's a great
This
game for
guy.
multiplayer. Oh yeah, this guy's hilarious.
I love it. Right, we were a little worried about you there.
Yep.
Glad to have you back with us. Hope
I thought he sunk all the way through because
Yeah, I
the
thought-
camera went down.
All I saw was the computer, and I was like, oh no, it ate him.
Yeah. Han, are you still Bryant, or have you come back from the sunken place somehow different?
As someone else.
Speak with us.
No, I'm definitely still Brian. Yeah, I'm that person.
Perfect. That's Bryant, spot on. All right, folks, let's get to our final game. You know, I was a little worried we'd have less talk about this week because there's only 3 games, and also we weren't going to be doing trailers for next week, but I still think we're like on pace to unfortunately go over. Are you guys still good to be like, if we went like 15 minutes over 9 or so? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
cool, yeah.
cool. All right, guys. So that was Micro Mages by Morphcat Games. Shout out to them. Also, shout out to them for having a ROM version that you can play on your NES, which I think there was like 40 kilobytes or something, which is mind blowing.
Really
first
tiny
off,
game.
how they pulled that off, like amazing. Shout out to them for that. All right, so next, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for our final game of the night, which is Rivals, which, again, as a reminder to our viewers who are watching right now, make sure to keep throwing in those questions, comments, concerns. If you want life advice, whatever it is, throw it in the chat. We're here for you, and you can win a chance to get a Steam copy of our next game that we'll be showing, Rivals, which I absolutely loved, which is probably no secret here. So let's go ahead and show off the trailer for Rivals from Tim Scheinman. So that, everyone, was Rivals from Tim Scheinman. Want to give a let me make sure that is on the right video there. Yep. Want to give a shout out to the developer. First off, we're huge fans of his work, his prior work. He released a wonderful game called Family, which we played with this exact crew. So we're having a reunion of this crew. That's the whole reason we gathered everybody together, is because everybody had played Family, and we want to discuss Rivals as well. And of course, these are amazing folks. So any excuse to have them all together is fantastic. So we Family, we all really loved. I know Layla might have raged a little bit at it, but I really loved it. It was one of my favorite games that we've played at Indie Game Club. For those who are watching this game wondering what is going on, it is essentially a kind of a detective game of sorts, but you're not dealing with any sort of actual crime. It's more of a historic musical genealogy kind of detective of sorts.
Yep.
Quick shout out again to the developer, not only for providing all of our guests here with Steam keys, so clap it up, really appreciate that for sure, but also for providing keys to give away. So we have some extra, actually, so we're going to give out one today, and we'll probably give out a few more over the course of Indie Games Club. It's probably no secret what my thoughts are, but I'll save them for a bit. Dee, what are your thoughts? I know you're a huge fan of Family.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought about Rivals.
This is my favorite one for this week.
Yeah.
And I found this one more challenging than Family, if only because there were less things you could take from the actual music as far as clues went when listening to the songs. Like, it kind of helped you figure out like the descriptions of the type of music, but it didn't exactly help out much with like putting the clues together.
Yeah.
So you had like a poster at the very beginning, again, 2 little notes, a tape recorded like message, and that was it. And then you had like descriptions for like the chapters. So unlike matching people like Family did, what you were doing is you were matching chapters and sections of a book that was a biography of these 2 originally best friends that were in a band together, then split off and were rivals through this like country rock scene in like the United States in the like late 90s, early 2000s. And so you were trying to catalog their life and what happened going through to like modern day.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see how this rivalry like built, because like I'm not sure if anyone else did, but I read through all the chapter little descriptions first, like not just the titles, but like the descriptions. It's like, Josh stared blankly at him this whole time. I was like, I'm very concerned for you, sir.
Right.
Why is he just staring at you? Oh, this guy lost a fight and got his jaw busted and got put on pain pills. I'm sorry, what?
there was a lot going on, not gonna lie.
Lot. Yeah. And that part actually kind of threw me off for a moment at the beginning. It clicked with me after a little while, but the whole idea, I'm so used to Family, like putting the names and arranging them, that the whole idea of essentially thematically piecing together this
their history,
of this rivalry was really interesting. I love that whole idea. And to your point, you could kind of peek ahead of time and see things. And so that unconventional storytelling, somebody who was watching me play it said this immediately reminded them of her story, which is very similar. Shout out to Daredevil Fox 134. Thanks so much for following. Really appreciate it. That was a great description, Dee. So what did you all think about the gameplay in comparison to Family? It's taking it up a notch. I think the music was still amazing. Like the bar for the music, I mean, it's definitely fantastic. How well, how did this compare to you guys, like at a difficulty level in comparison to?
I did feel like it was about a notch harder than the first one, which I appreciated. I thought that the first one had a good amount of difficulty to begin with. And this one did a good job of making it harder, but you still have those little inroads. It's just you have to look a little harder for it. I feel like in the first one, if you knew where to look, things were kind of spoon-fed for you. And where this one, I could tell you where the clues are, and you still might not necessarily get them. Like, I feel like it's a little more nuanced in this one. I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah. Barbastic, how did you feel about like how they structured things? So to Brian's point, like things were the delivery of this was similar in some way to Family in terms of how you were, every time you got 5 correct like titles, you would transition to the next kind of part where you would be provided with additional clues. How did you feel about like the pacing of it, and how long it took you and all that good stuff?
I thought the pacing was pretty good. I liked that the first set of clues stayed in like the first section. It kind of helped with figuring out what we're doing as far as like gameplay is involved, because with family it was like, hey, here's kind of one band, but it immediately spread to like 4 different bands. And as I was trying to figure things out, I was like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. With this one, it was like, hey, here's the beginning of the band. And then after that, it started to kind of go into different parts of their, like the future, but the past of the band and the 2 rivals, Josh and Luke. I thought that I was a little disappointed with how little the music really looped in with the game, because in the first game I was constantly listening to the music. I was trying to compare, I had to make sure that the vocals were either male or female, and I had to listen to the guitars and try to make sure that it's the same in this band. And with this one, I felt like if I had it turned on in any of the tracks the entire time, it would not have changed my experience much. It was more of just listening to the cassettes and reading the notes and kind of just figuring out dates versus stories and comparing. I liked the music. I wish that it was more necessary, because that was part of why I loved Family, was the entire time it was just playing in the background. And
having to listen to who was playing what similarly, whose voices, vocals sounded the same, trying to match it that way.
That's a good point. I will say there was at least 2 times I would say where I listened to the music to confirm or to like establish like a baseline thought and then run with it. Like one, there was like the whole idea of one of the albums having a more like Beach Boys like pop sound, if you remember that one. So I kind of listened to them to hear that, as well as when there was the complaint about Luke's kind of like album being too country, not enough country for country stations, not enough indie kind of rock for other stations. So I kind of listened for that. But I hear you on that, Barbastic. That is absolutely, I think, something to think about in that regard. Brian, did you want to say anything about that?
Well, what I did have a couple times where I had to click on the albums, but it wasn't to listen to the music. It was specifically because song titles were referenced.
Yes.
That's what I was going to chime in with too. Yeah.
So I did have that a couple of times, but you're right. Other than that, like actually listening to the music didn't really.
Other than being enjoyable.
Well, no. It's still great.
Gameplay, it was not that useful. Listening to it, it's amazing, and you should definitely listen to all the songs because they all sound great. I regretfully didn't listen to them as much as I should have. When I was watching Mike stream it today, he was like letting the music play all the way through, and I was just like, "This is so good. Why didn't I listen to this more when I was playing?" It's great, and kudos to Tim, the designer and developer.
He did fantastic.
For being able to do all that.
Yeah, we should say Tim did it all. He of course brought people to help. He arranged the music, programmed it, did the art, but he brought people in to do the voice performances and the performances of the music. But yeah, shout out to him. Tony, what were your thoughts about the music? And I know you didn't get a chance to play Family beforehand, so this was kind of a different experience for you. How did you feel about it?
Yeah. So, definitely, I don't know. This is probably unpopular opinion. I actually wasn't too much of a fan of the gameplay style. The gameplay style. In all honesty, it sort of, not to sound offensive, it sort of reminded me of homework. Like, I used to take back when I was in college, I took a class called Music Theory that was 100% online, and yes, you had to listen to music, or you had to like read articles, and then you had to sort of like come up with some answers or solutions to questions. And that experience, it sort of just reminded me of that experience that I had. As far as the music play style, I'm not really that big of a fan of the late 90s, early 2000s type of soft rock. I honestly was more into like metal, Slipknot, System of a Down, new rock type of going on, new metal over there. So the music didn't really entice me, and like I said, the play style of sort of like reading articles and listening to music and then sort of piecing together chapters of a book, it didn't necessarily interest me as much.
I feel you. No, I appreciate you. If anything, we always love the great thing, as everybody knows about Indie Game Club, is that's the whole point of having multiple people on here with diverse opinions. And to Dee's point earlier about discovering new games, like that's the whole idea. Discover some stuff you like, some stuff you don't.
Most definitely.
But the whole idea is trying new things that you might not try otherwise. So I super appreciate your thoughts on that. Layla, do you want to talk a bit about that as well?
Yeah, I think Tony actually described it perfectly. Like last time we played, I wasn't able to really say like what was off about it, but I think that that's exactly it, is that it did feel like it was homework of trying to like go through notes and piece together things. I guess like when it comes to detective styled gameplay, my adrenaline and my passion to want to get through it is because something drastic happened, or like something that's what gives me incentive to figure out what the heck is happening here. And I think that that's where that differentiates between the two, is that it's cool to figure out, oh, what happened to this band, like, you know, to try to figure out what's going on with them. But if you are used to a certain type of game style, and if you're used to playing a certain way, you're trying to always find like what the problem was in a drastic matter. And I guess that's where it was off for me. Yeah, the music was higher stakes. Yes, music was beautiful. Like I always, both times have enjoyed the music. And I think that if it just may be like my learning style as well, like that's as to why it seemed like it's more like homework. If now I think that all of that may change if it was, for me personally, if it was visual gameplay and you're trying to like look for clues and figure it out that way, like see scenes of like the artists arguing or whatever. I feel like that would give you more like incentive to visually see like, okay, what's going on here, you know, and
like
actually hearing more that pictures
guitar.
and then hearing the music, like all of that. I think that if it was for me personally, if it was more visual and maybe had like facts or notes that you had to go through sometimes, but if it was more visual, it would be better for me personally.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and I will say that Tim's next game is actually a game about forgery, so I would imagine that might be maybe a bit more up your alley, Layla, in terms of, I would imagine the game has a strong visual element to it. Athena Alliance is off to go play Among Us. Shout out to them. If you guys are playing online, we'll definitely raid you guys at the end of this for sure. I feel you. I feel you to an extent on that, especially, you know, I think the developer embraces that. You know, if you look at the trailer, it says like a paper pushing deduction. So I think, with interviewing him, I think he's well aware that this is for like a specific audience, so to speak. So I get you on that. Where I will kind of give my like defense of it is I do feel like it is high stakes in a sense that there is kind of like a personal relationship that you want to explore and get to the bottom of. And so what I really love and appreciate about his games is, like, through the gameplay, you're deducing things, but it's not just like a standard kind of logic puzzle. Like, you're actually unwrapping and piecing together back a relationship between these folks. And that's where I think like the story and like some of the tragedy comes. So for example, when you see Luke and kind of he breaks up with the band, does his own thing, only to like show up randomly at Josh's daughter's 5-year-old birthday and just be sitting there in his car and kind of lamenting the breakup and kind of with the voicemail, wanting, you know, wishing they hadn't necessarily broken up. There's a lot of like human tragic elements, and I think for us also, like seeing bands break up, we've seen this all the time. We're wondering, why don't they just get back together? And then we don't really understand like what kind of happens behind the scenes. And I feel like this kind of goes a little deeper in there. I actually wish it would have kind of gone more into the Luke Josh like actual tension. I really wish that would have been there. Like, what are the actual personality struggles outside if they broke up and then became rivals separately? But I totally feel you guys on that. That's just kind of like where I'm coming from in terms of what I loved specifically about it.
I definitely understand. That makes sense.
I think it's really just I think the gameplay is probably because when I boiled it down, like I tried it for 1 hour one day, and then I tried it for another hour another day, and then I actually looked at Layla and Mike's stream. It was like, man, let me see if I could really get this, because to me it really seemed, and not to boil it down, is that you're listening to cassette tapes and reading articles to name chapters in a book.
That is a very nuts and bolts way of breaking down. And I mean, it's true. That is literally just like basically the entire game. As you're listening to cassettes, looking at a couple posters,
while purely excluding the thematics and the
emotion
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds like just Tony, maybe it just didn't click with you, and like to Layla as well. Like that's fine as well. Like I think the musical genre, that's totally fair. I understand that, as well as the whole kind of story and how it's delivered. I will say like that. I think that is like the special sauce though to the game, is like kind of uncovering this mystery of the story and getting a feel for these characters. Because by the end of the game, just like Family, I feel like I know these characters, right? I haven't seen them, but I feel like listening to their music, hearing about their family, having children, their a parent passing away, like a lot of human moments that they went through. That
very relatable moments.
Very relatable, very relatable moments, and so that's where
I love the most about like whenever we do get together and talk about these games, just because like we're able, like you said, we all have different perspectives, game styles, or whatnot. We're able to come together for certain things, and like we're able to like look at different perspectives. And I think that the developers appreciate that too, because they're able to see what maybe what
works
one
for some
type of what works for some people and what doesn't for other people.
Man, she like really summed it up well. I really need to go look for these rage videos. Like,
I was about to say, but with this, like I agree with what you're saying. I wanted a little bit more about Luke and Josh. Like there was at one point where there's an interview where Luke loses his mind because like the band that he looks up to said something positive about Josh's band.
Yeah.
And he was just like, they said that, and like he like rages in like this radio booth. Apparently, I would have loved if that had been like a tape recording rather than like an article to read.
Yeah.
So you could hear the emotion in the voice.
He didn't want to break any chairs. No chairs were harmed in the making of this game, and he couldn't do a audio recording because he would have to
and so because that last audio recording from Luke at the very end of the game, where it's just so like
voicemail.
Yeah, the voicemail that he left for him, like it sounded so emotionally like
draining,
painful, and like he was like he acknowledged that how toxic he was as a person, and that he had been trying to run this rivalry when maybe they should have been like supporting each other and trying to help each other succeed rather than trying to fight like against each other like this. And like maybe he shouldn't have taken things personally. And he's like, I see you have everything that I have, but I don't know. It just kind of it makes me angry. But then I'm happy for you too.
Yeah.
So I'm just like this hurts because it reminds me.
I would have heard.
Yeah, that's one of the last voicemails. Like that's the very last voicemail, and it's like it's very emotionally charged, and like it brought me emotions. Like, who hasn't had a falling out with a friend and then tried to reconnect with them at some point in their life because you realize that maybe you guys weren't the best of friends for each other then, but you've grown as people and you want to see if you can be the friends you were in the beginning again. And it covers that really well. And like in the very end credits, you do get a brief conversation between the two where Josh goes to go see Luke.
Yes.
And they're trying to talk to each other. And I'm just like,
that was a touching. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
I was just really like, it was very short. And I was like, I wanted it to be a little bit longer.
But I kind of like the mystery, to be honest.
Yeah,
I like the
that's
mystery,
fair.
But I hear you.
But it's like Luke was like, "Come on in," and then it's like credits. I was like, "I want more emotions."
Yeah, Layla. I know you're normally a fan of like definitive endings in that regard. But would you have appreciated the voicemail like being early on? Does that sound like something intriguing enough to like build up the stakes for you?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna agree with D about like. If it was a recording of him raging in the booth, and if there were recordings here and there, you could definitely grasp in on that emotion and be able to then read and feel more. Because I'm a feeler, we all know that. Like I like to go through the story and feel things, but I think that I need growth in that aspect of finding it in words instead of wanting to watch it visually or hear the emotion. But I think that would have grabbed it for me. Would be to actually hear the emotions.
I feel you on that part. I think that would have been some of the stuff early on. I mean, you start off with a high stakes situation of not knowing kind of like Luke's condition in that regard. But I I would have liked a little bit more. Like, we hear Josh kind of complain that Luke kind of saw himself as a father figure for the band, even though he already has a father. He doesn't need that. He thought that it was like his band. You can kind of see that Luke seemed to kind of be a bit selfish in that regard and want to do his own thing.
Yeah.
And then they clearly battled each other back and forth. And there was references to kind of famous rivalries of time when there's at the end an interview with Lucy, which was a cool thing to hear, by the way. If you beat the game, that you got to hear the interviewer from Family interview Lucy, who's writing this book for Rivals.
Right.
So that was
cool.
That was really cool.
I haven't gotten through all of the extra credit there at the very end just yet because I had
neither
to
have I.
go get food. But like I tested what I did get. It was like 6 out of 15. I'm like, okay, so I am putting things together right.
Yeah.
But I need to go
Right.
get food, and I've been streaming for 3.5, almost 4 hours, and I haven't eaten since like noon. So
Food is good.
Yeah,
You should eat.
Barbastic and I
good.
were he came on for that part, and we tag teamed that section and pulled off the full
So
thing.
wait a second. You were giving him a hard time for having help with micromages, but he helped you with rivals.
True.
Thank you, D. Thank you.
Stay out of it, D. Stay out of it. No, yeah.
No,
Yeah, you know what? I was
I'll
giving him
throw
credit.
it
I don't know
back.
how much help he was providing.
I did it for
Oh,
Brian.
no.
Oh no.
You lost. I think we're connected still.
I said I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
Can't see your video.
But you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
All right. Well, then
Uh-oh,
I'll continue
folks.
talking.
Weird because I can see him.
Oh, well, then I'll keep looking at the camera. I was actually going to give you kudos, Mike, because
Let's have
I didn't think that I had done much, considering because the delay in chat where you weren't reading what I was saying until, like, there'd be things I'd say it, and then you'd solve it, and then look at what I said and be like, yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, I said that on my end like 5 minutes ago. And I think that you did fine, good enough without me. I wouldn't say that you did a good job, but I'd say I helped a little bit.
I appreciate the shout out for sure. I think we're all coming back here. Sorry for the technical issues. I don't know what's going on here, but hopefully D, Bryant, Tony, can you guys still hear us?
They're frozen for me.
I'm only seeing Layla.
You're missing me?
Okay, I can see you.
Maybe I should
I
leave
can
and come
s-
back.
I don't know. Everything.
Yeah, Brian
seems
and
good
D are
over here.
frozen for me. You're just Mike and you guys are the only ones I see.
Okay, let me admit here. Let me get people in.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go. All right,
Brian,
folks.
oh wait,
And
he's
Tony.
still frozen. Okay, I gotta go. Good. I'll be right-
Brian?
okay, wait, no, Brian's moving now. Okay, D is moving now.
Okay, D's
Hello.
And I
good.
see D.
Tony, we're just
Everyone,
waiting for.
spirit fingers, if you're okay.
Blandies.
Yeah, last thing I heard was "stay out of it, D," and then it cut out. I was like, "Oh no!"
You don't realize how
D
deep
Wow.
We're getting booted off the spaceship.
He is
D.
I was like, "I've been voted off the islands."
How it be?
That would be hilarious if I was just like, you don't agree with my opinion? You will
Nope.
never.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a kicker
How it
right
goes.
off.
I come to Indie Game Club for echo chamber
Yes.
discussions where all I hear is that I'm amazing.
You all don't agree with me on my opinions?
Good.
Yeah, now
Where's
that
that
we're
boot
back,
button?
what do we got? Hey, shout out to Tony Tyga, who's not only a guest, but is also donating bits to the show. My man right here. This is like next level. Like if there's an achievement unlocked, like let's put it right over his head. Thank you, Tony.
Second shout out to Tony who says, "Bro, it knocked me out. Google Meets ain't no Zoom for sure." a little look at behind the scenes how the sausage gets made. People.
Yeah, I
we use
realized
Google
why.
Meets.
Why?
I realized why. No, maybe it's not today. So Google Meets is now switching over to doing 1 hour calls.
Oh,
That might be
We've
it.
been on stream for over 2 hours.
No, I know.
so
I think
don't
it's today,
think
and
that's
it's literally
it.
today. So maybe it's like our fair warning. It could be that, or it's sometime within
Those
this next week.
jerks.
I know for a fact that sometime this
How
week
dare
they're
they?
switching. Just like Zoom went back to its 40-minute schedule.
Don't
we were
think-
planning on using Discord in the future.
Yeah.
anyway.
yeah, let's do that
Okay.
one.
So
Yeah.
we are
Probably
going
a good
to switch.
idea.
And I got that
Either that or Zoom.
that Nitro, so we can get a little higher resolution.
Yay, Nitro. Shout out to Nitro.
Shout out Nitro.
Nitro.
Hey, it's lit. Oh, there you damn it! Yes!
Oh my god. He's dabbing.
I'm so
Oh
cool.
no. His hipster transformation is complete.
See, anytime that anyone tries to dab, all I can remember is Layla
Where
trying to
is my
dab while
can we
drinking
see
water.
Layla, show
Yo,
us the
oh my
dab.
god. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, guys. Okay, I got you. Hold on.
Warming up the shoulders.
Shaking it
Oh,
out.
there we go.
No.
There we go. Tony, hit us with it. Hit us with it, Tony. There we go. Brian, hit us with the in
We're about
bed
the fusion.
at your friend's
We're about
house
to do the
dab.
fusion dance.
No?
Wait,
That's not happening? I don't...
He's got-
Oh, you waiting on me?
Who?
Yeah,
That was-
Brian.
Yeah,
You
you.
he's got a handful
Oh
of-
man.
There we
There you
go.
go. There's your dab. There's your dab.
Barbastic, it's your turn. I think he might have froze or left.
Oh, he froze! He froze up. It's
D.
8 miles.
Oh, yep.
D, we're waiting on you.
He's like,
I guess.
dab or leave.
There we go, D. I love it.
Dab.
I love it.
Dabber, go
That's the
home.
dance of the week.
Dab or go home. He was like, I'm gonna go home.
Wait, no.
See you guys. Shout out to Tempest636 for these 100 bits. You're the man. Saying
Thank you.
potions and bit boys. I love it. I love it. You are the man. Appreciate that so much.
But
Shout
yeah,
out to you
just-
for sure.
I hope that Tim keeps making these like emotionally charged, like
Yes.
music heavy games, because the music he makes for him is amazing. The fact that he writes all of it,
Yeah.
like, and I was there whenever you were interviewing him, whenever you guys had the exclusive interview.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like, yeah, he teaches, he wrote everything for Family himself. He did most of the voicing and stuff for it. Only got like help with like the female voiced roles, and he wrote Family.
Yeah.
So that was just intense.
You're right. And to make it the sequel within a month? I mean, come
Yeah,
on. Like, this
that's
man's work
impressive.
ethic. Like, this is fantastic.
From one teacher to another, sir, how do you do this?
Yeah, for real. And I think he has a...
Give me secrets.
Yeah, seriously. He has a newborn child, I believe he mentioned on the interview as well. So it's just like...
Oh no, my connection's going out again.
oh,
Yeah, Brian
what
and
is
Tony are-
going on here?
We're frozen.
It's strange because we're showing a great rate. I wonder if this is some Google Meet issues here.
Stop it.
We're gonna
My
keep...
dog is trying to eat my router.
Is that what's happening? Is that the source of
Probably.
it?
The pups. It's the pups.
Them pups. Oh no, now we're... Okay, are we still...
My bastard said I have been removed for my lack of dabbing.
We're kicking him off for that. You gotta dab if you're on Indie Game Club.
Oh, no.
Tony Tiger saying is the GameStop again coming for Layla. Layla, can we talk about, did you burn bridges with GameStop? Is there
I did not.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
There's nothing we should be aware of there.
Nope, not at all, actually.
Okay, Amara is saying 175 reports of outage. Yeah, it's a Google issue.
Oh, man.
Okay. But people can still hear us. So, Layla, I think you and I are the only ones holding this ship together right now. What kind of entertainment can we provide without any sort of video here? What other games are you looking forward to, Layla, out of the racial justice bundle that we've been playing? Have you been looking into any of those? Thinking about any of the future games that we might want to feature on Indie Game Club? Especially like for Halloween, we've been talking about in October maybe doing a more scary focused games. Uh-oh, did I lose Layla as well? Okay, folks, it looks like we are all alone here. So let me see if I can flip this. I hear Scarlet Aeon saying, "Oh dang it, Google, they heard us talking about Microsoft earlier and got mad." Amar saying that sucks. Now playing Worst Behavior by Drake.
Here's an update.
Okay, let me see if I can quickly maybe switch over to a camera of myself and make this a little less awkward here. Give me 1 second, everybody, while I try to get this together. Yeah, I think we're experiencing a whole big Google issue, everybody. That is a shame. So, of course, that is something we can't control ourselves. I am going to try to see if I can get on camera real quick just to wrap this last little thing up. But it seems like, yes, indeed, Google is messing up on us here. Thanks for sticking with us, folks. We see some folks still here. We appreciate it. We are working on this right now. You know what? This is what we're gonna do right here. All right, so this is our way right now with Google right here. Okay, we're encountering problems with the video call. Yeah, so this seems like an issue that is plaguing folks right now. I think, hey, guests, do you want to jump on Discord to finish this off real quick? Or since we're kind of close to time, do you want to wrap it up? I'll let you guys respond in the chat and let me know. Yeah, I say, look at that error screen. Sorry, we encountered a problem joining the video call. Your meeting is safe. Sorry, I don't know what. All right, give us 1 second here, folks. All right, folks, we are going to be jumping on Discord here. As Bart Bassick says, let's finish this. Google is the final boss. Indeed. We appreciate your patience. And yeah, let's get Discord going here.
let's go ahead and let's do this.
All right, folks, we are back now talking to you from Discord. And to our guests who are just here, join us on Discord. We miss you. Okay, we have folks right here. We got some names. How are we adding them in here?
They just click on the discussion night.
Yeah.
tab.
Let's see. So Layla, Tony, Bryant, if you guys can hear us, jump into. I think you guys are already on the Potions and Pixels Discord. We already have an open voice channel or a video channel for this.
In Indie Game Club, all the way at the
Indie
bottom.
Game Club. Yeah. Scroll down to Indie Game Club and you can.
Well,
Well, not at
down.
the bottom, but halfway down.
Let's say about a little
Under a lot of the game rooms.
Hey,
Oh,
and there's
there's
Tony.
Tony.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
Tony, thank you, Tony. Sorry for that.
Cool. Hey, no worries.
On behalf
told
of
you.
Google.
How dare you?
Oh,
We're
and,
just trying to spread the love of good games.
and every time I say Google, it starts asking me questions here.
Yeah.
All right, and then now Brian.
F you, Google. It pops up like, what can I do for you?
What can I do for you here?
You can work.
Start
really, Google.
working. Yeah. Okay, Google.
You can stop
do
having
your
server
job.
issues. Evie is displeased.
I feel that. I am. Yeah. No.
Now, this is way cooler.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do Discord from here on out.
I think that's
The best way to do it.
Yeah.
We already have all the
better,
Discord
too.
stuff set up, anyways. Yeah. I would agree. Yeah. I thought. Can you see when I mute myself?
Yeah. You can.
Yes.
It's
You
not
also
showing our
deafen
names,
yourself.
too. I think if we do a private voice chat, then it'll show up with all the names.
If you scroll over us, then it'll show
Yeah.
your names.
If you scroll
Like,
over the main thing, it
Oh,
just it pulls up all our
gotcha.
names.
Cool. Gotcha.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not,
right.
I haven't seen it on stream yet. Oh, okay. Then yeah.
You're right. Let me see. In. Let's see if they see that. Hopefully Layla is seeing that.
Layla, come back. You can blame it all on Google. It was wrong.
Yeah, so I guess this is our last Google episode. Is that the idea?
Absolutely.
Well, it's a good thing that you have off a week then, so you can get used to the new format.
I know. Yeah, we actually had to use this for the coronavirus episode that we did, Games to the Rescue, so that we could do screen sharing and have guests on at the same time, and there would be no delay.
They don't have screen sharing on Google Meet.
You can, but it's not designed for a high enough frame rate to like be able to show
dang.
gameplay footage.
Give me a sec. I can get her the link.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting it. I don't know my own links. Appreciate
I know.
that.
That's what you have me for.
Appreciate it. Thanks everybody for continuing to watch Google Technical Difficulties edition of Indie Game Club. Oh, and shout out to Stephanie, frequent guest of the show, who actually was the one who got my children this
Goat?
this goat simulator right here. Yeah.
The one that you assassinated?
Yeah, the one it had I think it had much love, so it has a little slit right here where the inside's coming out. We'll have to
Yeah, this
sew it
looks
up.
so cooler. This
Yeah.
looks like so much
We
fun.
still streaming? I didn't even realize we
Hey,
were still
the family's back
Gotcha.
together. All right,
on. Oh, sorry.
I love it.
It's the reunion tour, everybody. We're gonna.
It's the inventory.
How do you guys
We got
like
the band
this?
back
I
together.
think this looks better. I can,
Yeah.
I can cut it up a little bit to make it look even more nicer on the next stream. But we
Even
are back.
more.
Everybody good? Can we hear each other?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Sweet. Shout out
Awesome.
to what was it? Amar, who caught the errors that Google was having. So glad that
Yes.
this wasn't just something. I'm always paranoid that we're experiencing our own problems.
Yeah.
Cool. So where were we, guys? We were talking about Rivals. We were talking about a couple things. I'll note when Barbastic and I were playing, there was a couple minor things that I mentioned to Tim. He was watching the stream as well, so shout out to him. I appreciate that he watches this stuff and participates and is involved and wants to learn from them throughout. and I shared yours and Barbastic's, and he enjoyed watching those too. So
he tweeted back at me like early in the morning at 3 a.m. He's like, catching up watching Scarlet just crushing rivals, and I was like, oh my god. Okay, hi, thanks, I had fun with it. He was like, you're welcome. Do you know who else was playing it when? And I was just like, I have no idea. I know Barbastic played at the same time that I did. That's all I know.
No, he's a really cool guy. We appreciate him. There were a couple things I mentioned to him. I would have liked a previous section button, when you can go forward in sections.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It also would have been nice to two other small things and I wanted to tell him this about family. I might have mentioned it, I'm not sure. Is when you click a note and you're reading it, I want the note to be highlighted, so I know what note I'm on.
Yeah.
And then I think finally, after you complete the sections, it'll show you like the chapter description of like. Do you guys remember that? So like every time you got 5, it'll show you like a deeper, longer thing. I like the longer parts in the left-hand corner. I don't know what I'm doing. Like suddenly I'm showing you all this stuff as if this makes a difference. And it's not mirror mode. But I would have liked if we could have still had those like small bits of writing to like keep up with all that was going on.
Yeah. So they had like the name of the chapter, the Cliff Notes or like Spark Notes version of the chapter, and then they had the full chapter. And once you completed it, it gave you the full chapter. But I did the same thing where I was like,
Cliff Notes.
I need to know what the Cliff Note is, so I'd click on it and be like, this isn't the Cliff Notes. This is way too much information. I just need.
You said it way better than I did.
That's all I need.
Exactly.
All I need is they had a kid. So you have to click on to get all of the chapter names, and then you have to hover and try to figure out where the cliff notes are. And it wasn't great when it did that, but at the same time, I mean, if you read through the whole thing, it's
it was just keeping track of everything.
You should be reading. You should be reading.
But it's hard when like album releases and other stuff. So that was a small little nitpick there. And I do wish that his games would also incorporate almost like a note section where you could like type stuff out on your own. Something like that would be nice. But
this one did warn you though at the very beginning. It's like you might want to have paper or something so you can try and write down your ideas. It warned you at the beginning.
I thought it was cool that it had stuff that you can search outside of the game.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
I didn't think that there was enough that you needed to do, which I was both happy with and disappointed with. Like if it was going to be like that where you could do that kind of stuff in game, I wanted it to be something where I had to. But
Can you elaborate on that just for the audience so people can kind of...
So one of the notes, or one of the recordings you get is a what's the word for it? There's the chief of police is giving a description on what happened. Press conference. Thank you. And it's about something in the game that doesn't have anything to do with real life events, but then at the end, she's like taking questions, and she's like, "Oh yes, the game for our hockey team versus this other one, it happened 3-2, and like the score was 3-2, and
we lost.
You'll have to look that up on one of those search engines," which I thought was a very cute nod to the fact that you can go look it up on a search engine. But I was like, well, it happened in. Like the date on the cassette was 01, I think was the year that it happened in. I just went, well, there's only 2 slots for 01. I'll put it in both those, and then I'll find out if it's right or not. I'm done. I didn't need to Google search anything. So I didn't Google search a single thing outside the game. I stayed in the game the entire time.
I would say that goes a little against the spirit of the game in that way. But I hear you on that. But I know what you mean.
I did some Google searching for like some of the extra credit stuff.
But I extra credit stuff I definitely
for the game itself.
I think you kind of had to for a couple of those.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you just had that knowledge. Like one of them mentions the
E Street Band, like Bruce Springsteen.
Yes, the E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen's band. Yeah, like I don't know his guitarist's name off the top of my head. So
no, I didn't know that at all.
It was something that watching Mike do it, I saw him Google it and was like, oh yeah, that's. Of course,
that's right. We can Google those things.
We can Google things,
right?
But through actually playing the game, I didn't want to tab out. I wanted to just play with what's in the game, and you can complete it without Googling anything. So that's I kind of wanted it to be where I either had to or I didn't have to at all. I wanted it to be all one or all the other. Well, not all. Like have to Google everything. But I
You
wanted
just
it
wanted
to be
it to be
something
involved
where,
a bit more, so you didn't have to do the process of elimination. Like for that clue, you had to try and figure it out through Googling it.
Yeah. I wanted to either be that you have to do that for more than one clue, or you don't have to do it at all, and it's not necessarily something that's even part of the game. I thought it was cool to reference real life things, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was something that needed to be it was cool that it was included. I didn't think it was something that it didn't even need to be addressed because it didn't necessarily affect my gameplay.
There has been, I should say, a few board games that have kind of explored this territory, either to actually go to Google or I think the game Detective has its own search engine that you explore within. It's kind of like taking that whole Sherlock Holmes consulting detective idea and expanding on it. If you're familiar with that game, that had literally newspaper articles and all sorts of things in the game that you had to actually search through in order to solve the crime and know where to go. So I think that's been an inspiration for a lot of this. I will say it was also cool if you noticed at the bottom left-hand corner of the notes, there was a website. And if you went to that website, that was the website for Lucy Bramley, the lady who's writing this book. And it's an actual website where you can ask questions of in the game about the game, and I'm pretty sure it's just probably Tim who's just going to be answering your questions, or at least logging this stuff and hearing the things that people are getting stuck on. So I'd like to explore that, but it's an actual website that you can go to right now, and he actually mentioned it as well on the stream.
Does it give any responses? I saw him mention it while you were on stream, and unfortunately on your stream you can't, you weren't switching between screens, so I'm only watching your gameplay, so I didn't get to see what you were typing in.
I honestly didn't ask it because I didn't want any help. But now,
okay, I thought you would ask a question.
No, I never actually did. And I need to know what the exact website is, because there's apparently, as you would expect, there are real Lucy Bramleys. So me Googling Lucy Bramley hasn't helped right now.
Not in the slightest.
There is there's a lot of amazing Lucy Bramleys apparently in the world, but I'll find out who the actual Lucy Bramley is that we're talking about here.
The actual fictional,
the actual real fake Lucy Bramley. Yes, exactly.
Real fake.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of covered the core parts of this one, but I definitely want to say that I love it and really hope that Tim will create more games of this variety, and also games that explore some of the other elements that we heard, especially Layla and Tony say, that may be a bit more captivating. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about his forgery game, because I think that would be really interesting.
That sounds cool.
To inspect things, because that also might give you a little bit more motivation outside of the visual stuff to try to better understand, because then you're looking at notes that are probably telling you, I'm speculating, I have no idea, but I'm assuming that you can look at notes that tell you what to look for in the pictures, and then you're looking at the pictures and saying which one's fake, which one's real, sort of thing. So I think that is a really awesome concept for a game, something I can't say I've seen before. So yeah, it sounds like overall excited for future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm intrigued by that one.
You're gonna have to go through some back catalog of his games, because both the games I've played now so far, they seem pretty great.
So that one I think I mentioned to you guys, what is it? Something Richard Fleming. That is a really cool game. It's fairly short, probably half an hour or so, and it's kind of set the whole British spy world, like the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy kind of settings, and you're trying to piece things together and essentially guess three names, who was the traitor, the terrorist, the turncoat, all that stuff.
That sounds pretty cool.
Remember you guys talking about that in the interview, and it's something that I plan on playing.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, and I would recommend it. And we will be giving away a copy of Rivals to one lucky winner, so definitely be on the lookout. We'll be randomly going through all of the people who participated in the stream, and we'll be sending out a Steam key there. Thanks again, everybody, for sticking with us as we ran through all these technical difficulties. Again, we will be off next week, but guests, do you guys have any thoughts about additional games? Because we're looking for more stuff, particularly from the Itch Racial Justice Bundle. You guys got some recommendations?
Because it's going to be October.
Yes.
Oxenfree is one of those games, and it's very spooky.
It's
And
really
then, of course, I did tell you guys about the visual novel Changeling that's in that. That's all about like Fae lore and everything.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, that's some good stuff.
And you can
right
choose
there.
to romance someone or not. Like there are good endings even if you don't go for the romance route with your character.
Mm.
But if you want to, there's like pure blood vampire, turned vampire, werewolf, another Fae dude, a wizard that's very klutzy, and an empath who tries to stay away from people so he doesn't feel other people's emotions.
That's cool, and that can spice things up because I think like when I was looking at spooky stuff, I didn't want to just get like straight like survival horror. There's like a speed dating for ghosts game in the bundle that looks really cool. I think, like,
this Discord has ghosts in it. It's another one.
That's another one. Yeah. So there were several in there. I know that Layla and Tony and I were looking at also this haunted PlayStation 1 disc, which looks really cool.
Yeah, with all the games on it. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's like PS1 era like games or modern games done in the
32-bit.
32-bit style games.
Yeah.
And with the kind of nostalgic PS1 era graphics. So a lot of Silent Hill-ish videos or graphical quality. So are we looking forward to that? Is that what we want to do in October?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And please bring me back for that. I love horror games, and Halloween is my stuff.
Halloween's the best.
October for me is one I probably scare just as much as I rage. So it's I'm excited for it. I'm a big scaredy cat, I swear. But I am excited for to play some more horror games. I feel like I stray away from it. So, and it's also my birthday next month. So
nice.
I'm excited for
advance
all the
happy
things.
birthday for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there's I think the scary games they have me jumping and tossing. I mean, Night of the Consumers had me like throwing back. So I can only imagine the games that we're planning on playing in October. So yeah, I think we should make a theme of it and maybe do the whole month and try to get as much spooky stuff. But D, I'm with you. Oxenfree After Party, like
Oxenfree is really good.
Yeah, let's put those in there. And
then Changeling.
And Changeling, I remember you briefly mentioning. I need to.
Yeah, I brought it up last time. It was a visual novel that's in the bundle that I found.
I've been enjoying the visual novels. So.
Yeah, you're playing one twin who went missing as a child for 3 days, and then your brother found you and said, "That's not my sister." And he had been blinded in one eye. And so neither of you remembers what happens exactly, but he's convinced that you're not his sister.
I found Changeling on Steam, but I'm not sure it's the exact same game. It says a dark, fantastical romantic comedy that focuses not just on falling in love, but rediscovering your past and the dangers
of the
supernatural world. That's it?
Is it purple?
Yes, purple.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. So it has some comedic like dialogue in it to try and keep it lighthearted, but you're trying